to your purchasing power, to the stability of our currency, to our economy as we know it.
The Charlie Kirk Show. Afternoons at 1, right before Sebastian Gorka at 3 on AM 560. The Answer.
Balance of Nature's fruits and vegetables in a capsule, changing the world one life at a time.
Well, I drive a truck for a living. I don't get hardly any exercise. I'm not kidding you now. I'm not easily sold on anything, but I'm a firm believer in this product. You know, I watched those advertisements for 2 or 3 years and listened to the radio going down the road, and I said, something's got to be going on with that product for that many people to do ads for them. And I'll tell you what, I just uptown a while ago, I told some of my buddies, I said, I'm not BSing you, man. I'm not kidding you. It's amazing. It totally amazes me.
Experience the Balance of Nature difference for yourself. Right now, Balance of Nature is offering free shipping and 35% off on any new preferred order. Start your journey to better health today by calling 1-800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code Chicago.
This week on RVER, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
Oh, that new doctor is drop dead gorgeous.
Oh, please, he's just another Ivy League educated surgeon with good hair.
No, he's different.
Nurses, we got a Class C motorhome with a detached driver's side mirror. Meet me in the OR. Stat.
Right away, doctor.
No, she's on break. I'll handle this one.
Oh, you conniving little...
When your RV really needs saving, Progressive has you covered. See if you could save with a leader in RV insurance. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, covered subject to policy terms.
After 9/11, Saul Martinez couldn't wait to enlist. In Iraq, his vehicle was hit by a projectile improvised explosive device. Saul survived, but he lost both legs, suffered a traumatic brain injury, and lost 2 close friends. Saul now lives in a smart home from the Tunnel to Towers Foundation, which gave him back his independence despite his severe physical challenges. Help heroes like Saul. Donate $11 a month to Tunnel to Towers at t2t.org.
How can you get from here to there? We've got the answer from the AM 560 Traffic Center.
Good afternoon. Here's another check of the roads. Very busy on the southbound side of the tri-state. There is a crash right before Halsted in the left lane, stop and go from I-80. On the Edens outbound, you're at 17 minutes. Inbound is a half hour. On the outbound Kennedy, 45 out to the airport. Inbound hour and 10. Traffic slowing on the outbound Eisenhower as well at 1 hour out to 390. Crash on the shoulder right at Damon. Going in 46 minutes with a crash at Independence, blocking the right lane. Stop and go from Cicero Avenue. Stevenson out 1 hour out to the Veterans Memorial Tollway. Inbound 46 minutes. Getting out to 95th on the Ryan, 31 inbound, 36. Solid 31st all the way into downtown. Other tollways besides the Tri-State, not too bad. Traffic is a service of the Salem Podcast Network. Here are the latest podcast episodes from Charlie Kirk, Dinesh D'Souza, Todd Starnes, Trish Regan, and many more when you subscribe for free at salempodcastnetwork.com. From the MorrisonSecurity.com Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchak.
Now, your official weather forecast.
Cloudy with occasional rain, tonight's low 41. Occasional rain and drizzle for tomorrow, high 45. Thursday night, low 36. Sunshine and clouds, breezy on Friday, high 51. I'm Andy Robb on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
This hour of the Shaun Thompson Show is brought to you exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. Sell or buy, go to Donley.
Portions of the following show may be pre-recorded.
From the streets of Melrose Park to the trading floor of the Merc, he's fought for every dollar he's ever earned. And now, with personal liberty and our system of capitalism under assault in America, he's here to seize back our rights from the government. With a cigar in one hand and a copy of the Declaration of Independence in the other, he's Shaun Thompson. And this is the Shaun Thompson Show.
This looks like a job for me, so everybody just follow me, cause we need a little controversy, cause it feels so empty without me. I said this looks like a job.
Failures have one direction and one direction only. Lie, cheat, steal. This is the American Democrat Mafia platform. Sometimes they steal from businesses, sometimes they steal from the future. Their big idea to help you with the inflation that they created, and by they, I mean politicians in general, but specifically the American Marxist mafia, is to propose putting everyone on welfare. What they don't understand is not everybody is a Democrat. Not everybody wants something for nothing or wants to be on government sustenance. I mean, don't get me wrong. We've got about 70% of Republicans, 100% of Democrats that do. Illinois Republicans the best, and we'll get to that scumbag in Chicago in a while. But the reality is the idea that they are going to blanket propose, now it's $300 a month. I told you $100 a month in the tease. It's wrong. It's now $300 a month. So that they can buy your complacency with their corruption and their failure. And they don't want you to understand. The answer is simple. Unleash the citizen. But that would mean that the corrupt mafia of Democrats would have to relinquish their stronghold on you. They would have to go back to the principles of Americanism with it emaciated government, a representative Republican. See, now they've got the taste of rulership, the taste of despotism, and they're not going to let it go. It's like Chicago. Why let it go when you could buy off the Republicans and keep it in place? This is the game. So this is what they're going to try and do. It's all they know how to do. Write a check, write a check. Sure, you're broke. The government cannot exist, even though it has record revenues. They've so tainted the economy, they can't decipher what's a revenue and what's simply an interest payment on debt they borrowed from the future. That's how messed up this all is. So I know other shows will have you distracted. And listen, by the time you get to me, you've heard all the clips already of affirmative action Jackson and how stupid she is, or how evasive, or how bald-faced lying she is. And that is the qualifications of a Democrat. That's what they are. So they can't tell you a simple answer from woman to child to the rest of it. And this is how we're going to get led back to the welfare system and then the emergency. The emergency of a round 15 of the Fauci-invested COVID. My favorite new emergency, though, is the idea that Rootin' Tootin' Putin is nuke crazy. It really is. Although this wasn't the play when they were in power during Barack Obama. In fact, when they were in power during Barack Obama, the Duchess of Chaffington, Hillary Clinton, was selling the Russians uranium. You know uranium. It's the stuff that makes the bomb real dangerous. It's the common denominator of a nuke. And I was told what a great guy Rootin' Tootin' Putin was. This was captured after the intern molester, Bill Clinton, the only man in America that everyone knew why he cheated on his wife. Bill Clinton, this is after he was disgraced, and he was on Piers Morgan. And I want you to hear how his spin went. This was the same time his wife, not his mistress's, the one with the inner thigh rash, the Duchess of Chaffington. This is the same time she was the Secretary of State.
Can we really believe that Vladimir Putin, with his own self-interest for Russia, is orchestrating this huge maneuver to remove all of Assad's chemical weapons, and it's just going to happen?
No, we don't have to believe it. We just have to see what happens and make the most of what happens. You work for the best and prepare for the worst in this business. But I think it would be a terrible mistake not to take advantage of the opportunity. And, you know, look, Mr. Putin he's very smart.
You know him better than most people.
Yeah, I do.
What was he like behind closed doors, away from, the sort of the public utterances?
Smart and remarkably, we had a really good, blunt relationship.
How blunt?
Brutally blunt.
Ever fisticuffs?
No, but I think the right strategy most of the time.
Now, this is funny because this is when he was president. Was it brutally blunt when he was getting $500,000 for fake speeches in Russia? You do remember all that, right? The millions and millions of dollars donated to Hillary, the Duchess of Chaffington, and the Clinton Foundation so that the Uranium One deal could go through. Do you not remember that, Squirrel Hands? Do you remember that? You're young. You were tucked away in school, right? Playing Naked Twister with your friends and whatnot. Here's a little recap.
A key question for congressional investigators. Did Hillary Clinton give 20% of the United States supply of uranium to Russia for donations to the Clinton Foundation? And it flows out of the sale in 2010 of this company, Uranium One, which controlled about a fifth of America's uranium, to a Russian firm called Rosatom. By law, Even though Uranium One was a Canadian firm, the U.S. part of this deal had to be approved by the Committee on Foreign Investment in the U.S., which is comprised of 9 agencies, including the State Department. And at that time, Hillary Clinton was the boss there, Anderson.
So, by the way, the FBI was headed up by the other Democrat apparatchiks that would become infamous during the Trump years. The same ones that were investigating a story they knew to be fraudulent from a Russian spy they worked with on this deal. Absolutely. Absolutely. So, as you're watching right now, the threat that will be used as a weapon against you, if it's not the climate, if it's not COVID, if it's not welfare, if it's not affirmative action, whatever the case is, this is directly responsible because of the Clinton regime. And you could say Obama, he was a figurehead in the way diapers Biden is. All of this goes back to the corruption in the American Marxist mafia, calling themselves Democrats, which is really one of the oligarchs, is the Duchess of Chafington. And I don't want you to forget it, because I don't forget it.
So, I mean, a lot of this was looked at during the campaign. Why is it coming up back now again? I mean, there were also all the donations to the Clinton Foundation.
Yeah, absolutely. It was all talked about before. But the Hill newspaper, which reports on a lot of things with the government here,
CNN, by the way,
came out with a report showing the FBI was investigating a subsidiary of Rosatom for possible racketeering, money laundering, bribes, all aimed at giving the Russian government more influence over the U.S. nuclear industry while this deal was being approved. So some members of Congress want to know why.
I'm serious. When I call it a mafia, you think it's just an off-the-cuff insult? This is organized crime. And the oligarchs in it are never going to go to jail, baby. Not a one of them. In fact, they're just going to keep making more and more money. And, you know, here's what I'd like Rootin' Tootin' Putin to do. I really would. Release all the documents on how you bribed these bastards. Release it all. So that everybody, the world, could see how America is not so much the land of the free and the home of the brave anymore. It's the land of the willfully ignorant and home of the welfare recipient.
They weren't told about all of this. And furthermore, the Hill says the Russians were channeling millions of dollars to the Clinton Foundation at the same time, raising the question, especially for some Republicans, did Hillary Clinton help this deal along in any fashion?
No. She took the money, and she didn't help them. And Joe Biden didn't help Ukraine. He took the money, didn't help them. And our bombs are not being used to antagonize World War III. No. None of it. None of it all happened. In fact, America's the good guy, led by the Democrat mafia, who have your best intentions. And if gas gets too high, don't worry. You're going to get some welfare cheese. So shut up and vote Democrat. And your alternative isn't much better, but I do want you to know the kind of people you're dealing with when you have the American Democrats who pretend that their rulers are representatives. I want you to really, there's every once in a while they'll do an interview and there'll be a window into how their brain really works. This is Nancy Pelosi, post-op Pelosi, on some Demerol, VO, and water high. And she's talking to somebody. I want you to know what she really thinks of the people.
And to this day, my husband, Paul, who was born and raised in San Francisco, I was born and raised in Baltimore. To this day, he likes to dine at 8, and I like to eat at 5:30. Like a peasant.
Like a peasant. This is a predicament that if we had an actual Federal Bureau of Investigation, they would save this country, because they take 100% of the Democrat rats that are elected to office and 70% of the Republican roaches that inhabit offices and are chairman of GOP organizations. If they actually investigated political crime. But see, it's like insider trading. For them, it's legal. So to sell uranium to the Russians, who now look like they're going to nuke and start World War III, don't mention it. Don't mention when Bill Clinton kind of enlightens you to the personal relationship he had with Vladimir Putin. It does explain why somebody would give $500,000 to this intern molester, the only man in America who everyone understands why he had an affair. It does kind of shed a light on some things. And then every once in a while, when they tell you that they're going to defund the police, when they tell you that they're going to pack the court, when they tell you that they're going to rule over you, not based on the principles of law, but on the agenda of the mafia to keep you down, a willful slave. So as you see, we've got a Supreme Court nominee. No, we don't. We've got an affirmative action Jackson. And she's going to be a rubber stamp for the Marxist mafia because that's what she is.
What I've taken away from the hearing so far is that Judge Jackson clearly is firmly placed in the progressive wing of the Democrat Party. When I asked her to define woman, she wouldn't even give me a definition of woman. She is on the school board that is pushing CRT to children as young as 5 years old, Maria. And one of the things of tremendous concern to me is the way she has been light on child pornographers, child abusers in her sentencing practices. And of course, this is an area where I've put a tremendous amount of effort.
See, in America, among the Democrat mafia, all of those failings, the lying, the outright bald-faced fraud, the favoritism to the convict predator. These are resume builders for these roaches. This isn't going to hurt this lady at all. She's an affirmative action Jackson, and she will be a Supreme Court judge. Book it. We'll be back after this.
Make money, smoke cigars, and live free on the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
A storm is on the horizon, and you need to keep the lights on no matter what. Your business relies on the power being on 24/7. It's the lifeblood of your data and computer systems. Weather-related outages from the power company are not acceptable. Your need for a source of power that's reliable 24/7, along with round-the-clock service that can dispatch technicians to your site immediately, is mission critical. Your business needs Charles Equipment Energy Systems on speed dial. These are the big boys, not residential or solar, but reliable industrial generators for emergency backup or events. When you need more than a 100-foot extension cord plugged into a small engine generator, call Charles Equipment Energy Systems. They keep the lights on with rental generators for job sites or power outages. A storm is on the horizon. Plan ahead. Call now to prepare generators for storms and potential power outages. Call 630-834-6000, 630-834-6000, or charlesequipment.com.
Hey, Chicago, you're not still paying full price for eating out, are you? Seriously? Stop spending more money than you need to and start earning real cash back every time you eat out. Just download the free Get Upside app and get cash back at restaurants all over Chicago. Yeah, you heard me right. You can earn real cash back just for eating at your favorite places like Dunkin' Donuts, Burger King, Protein Bar, Roti Mediterranean, and hundreds of other places.
I took my girl out for sushi date night and earned 27% cash back on the restaurant bill. Don't tell her.
Bought lunch for the office last week and earned like $15 cash back.
I hate cooking, so I eat out a lot. That's why I love Get Upside. It's a free app that literally gives you cash for eating out.
Download the free Get Upside app now to get real cash back on restaurants all over Chicago. Use promo code ENJOY for a $10 bonus on your first purchase. You can cash out anytime to your bank account, PayPal, or an e-gift card for Amazon and other great brands. Earn cash back every time you eat out. Just download the free Get Upside app and use promo code ENJOY for a $10 bonus. That's code ENJOY.
Warmer weather is here, so you can't continue to hide that extra winter weight under layers of clothing. If you're looking to get healthy and lose weight safely, let me tell you about a secret weapon, Riduzone. Developed by doctors and backed by 2 U.S. patents, Riduzone is the only FDA-accepted product that includes OEA, the naturally occurring molecule that helps you feel full faster. Riduzone helps to reduce your calorie intake by making it easy to resist cravings for snacks. Riduzone also helps burn stored fat around your waist or hips. Thanks to Riduzone, not only will you look and feel better, but you won't have to dread stepping on the scale every morning. Go to Riduzone.com and use the promo code Dennis to save up to 30% off your order and receive free shipping. That's RIDUZONE.com. Save up to 30% and get free shipping by using the promo code Dennis at Riduzone.com. That's Riduzone.com, promo code Dennis.
AM 560.
The Answer. Welcome back. Your dreams were your ticket out. Welcome back to that same.
All right, so we got a caller on the line with a trivia question for me. And we will take it. 312-642-5600. Scott, Woodstock.
Hey, Shaun. What European country has donated the most dollars to the Clinton Foundation?
Well, the rumor a few days ago was Ukraine. The rumor, however, it looks like is a rumor because it's going to be a hard runoff. Is it going to be China? Is it going to be Russia? I think Ukraine is going to be a close third, but that's the trifecta as far as I'm concerned. After all, what are the countries that have bought the Democrat politicians from Congress, birthing peoples and others, to senators, to now presidents? It's all the enemies of America. They've all infiltrated our politics. And they do it in the same fashion you see Illinois Republicans cheer a big check that's stroked by Ken Griffin. All they want is the money. They don't really care where it comes from. And is there an allegiance? Of course there is. I've said, Scott, since the beginning of this, because I'm lucky in life. I have friends of mine who are smart people, who are from these areas, who have a history and legacy. And we don't talk sports. We talk about history. We talk about reality. This area of the world, what's been going on, it's been going on for 1,000 years. And it will continue to go on. It will continue to go on.
Yeah,
My argument has always been America has no place in it. But America has no place bombing Yemen. I mean, we're bombing them. We could pretend the Saudis are bombing them, but we're bombing them. We had no place in Syria. We had no place in Iraq. We had no place in Afghanistan. We had no place in Libya. We had no place in Vietnam.
No, and we all know history doesn't repeat itself, but it does rhyme.
Yeah. Oh, look at you, Mark Twain. I love it. Thank you very much. And you know my other favorite Mark Twain, by the way. Never argue with an idiot. They drag you down and beat you with experience. Thank you very much. I love that, Scott. Got a lot of Mark Twain. Could always do Mark Twain. But I want to focus on the nucleus of the problem. Nucleus of the problem is the people who are sitting in these powerful positions are bribed either first hand, second hand, or third hand. But make no mistake about it. Joe Biden is going to Europe. And he's going to do the weekend at Bernie's 3, right? He's going to embarrass the country, the whole 9 yards. Hopefully the Secret Service has the diaper bag with him. But what he's really going to do is say, boys and girls, we have an opportunity here. Number one, we could take the spotlight off of the incompetence and war crimes of NATO. Just ask a Serbian or a Yugoslavian. Yeah, I know we don't talk about it anymore. Joe Biden apologized for it when he could remember his address. They're going to glaze over all of the financial skullduggery in NATO, in the UN. It's all going to go away. Just like we funneled tens of billions, $29 billion into Ukraine. Riddled in scandal, oligarch run. Those are the good oligarchs. And we're going to be quiet as the same oligarchs who bribed the Clintons, open and notorious for decades, now get their yachts taken away. Which got me thinking, if we can arbitrarily take people's yachts and houses, I liked it. But let's put it towards the debt, which will never happen. It'll just line their pockets. Let's start with Nancy Pelosi and her husband. And I'm dead serious. I'm so sick and tired of pretending this inside trading piece of garbage is anything different than a Russian oligarch that bribed the Clintons.
And to this day, my husband, Paul, who was born and raised in San Francisco, I was born and raised in Baltimore. To this day, he likes to dine at 8, and I like to eat at 5:30, like a peasant.
Yeah. Have another facelift. You'll have a cleft chin. The reality is, we have the worst people in society, the most obvious political whores and pimps, telling us why we should justify giving them more money and more power. And when things get too bad at home, they've always got the pen. Let's just write a check to you. Because $300 a month, that'll shut you up. And you know, I thought it wouldn't work until I came back to Chicago. And I watched the excitement and glee over Willie Wilson, who I think is a moron, giving gas money away rather than taking that money and educating the people on why the gas is so high and why they should never continue to vote the way they've been voting for 50 years. Instead, he didn't want to do that. He wants to buy votes. And he's a Republican, just like the chairman of the GOP in Chicago. Buy votes. And you realize, you're going to have to start to think like these people who came from these Soviet societies, from these Marxist societies, because they survived. How did they survive? They understood to recognize what you cannot control and take yourself to a place where you can control it. So as I got off the plane and I went through that sewer, O'Hare, and it is a fracking sewer. $8.5 billion that we threw into the rehab. Did you see the workmanship there, or lack of it? As the urinals are hanging off the walls, and they're all new. As the bathrooms smell like Democrat failure and corruption. I thought we could really solve all kinds of problems. Let's hire the worker Ukrainians, the people who didn't like the oligarch system of the comedian, who silenced all his critics, locked up the television stations that criticized them, just like the American Democrats. Let's take all those workers who are subjected to this failure. Let's take them into these sewers. At least we know the workmanship is great. Take the Russian people, too, who are subjected to that oligarch system. And let's take the American Democrats, 70% of the Republicans, and really harm these Soviet sewers and send them our politicians. It'll be better than the weapons. They'll destroy that country in about 70 years. And the good news is, I think Joe Biden's still going to be weekending at Bernie's. Oh, yeah, they'll have him hooked up, little adrenaline pump, some caffeine from Starbucks, Viagra. His wife's used to waiting anyway. I think that's the real answer. You want to hurt these countries? Send them our Democrats instead of our money that the Democrats can't wait to waste. 312-642-5600.
He will never negotiate his constitutional rights with the government. Live free or die on the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
Next time you're in the office, look around and see the paper accumulating and the filing cabinets taking up space waiting to be filled. You want the paper gone, but dread the time-consuming scanning process? Well, with IoT smart connected scanning, it's never been easier to turn physical paper into digital documents and have them directly uploaded to the cloud. The need for PCs, cables, and tedious application software is eliminated. Anyone can set this device up in 5 minutes or less, saving your organization money, valuable time, and the hassle associated with IT. Remote employees can capture documents and send them seamlessly. This technology is adaptable to any environment and uses a hotspot without compromising security. If your goal is to organize documents efficiently and securely, IoT Smart Connected Scanning from IDT is for you. To see a demo or order now, go to ready4idt.com. That's ready4idt.com. Use promo code SMART and receive 10% off your order. IDT, putting paper in its place.
You want your basement to be dry most of the time? If so, Permaseal is not the company for you. At Permaseal, we believe your basement should be dry all the time, no matter how hard it rains. Hi, I'm Roy Spencer, president of Permaseal. I've heard many homeowners say that their basement only leaks when it rains. Well, you don't worry about your living room or bedroom getting wet, so you should feel the same way about your basement. Call 800-421-SEAL. We offer a free estimate, no haggle pricing, and a price assurance guarantee so you can rest assured you're getting the best value. If you want your basement dry all the time, you know who to call, Permaseal. We've helped over 450,000 homeowners across Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana since 1979 and have an A-plus rating with the Better Business Bureau. 800-421-SEAL. That's 800-421-7325 or visit permaseal.net.
Best for and better Permaseal.
You know, I wonder if Donley Auctions is going to buy some of those Ukrainian Nazi memorabilia. Have you seen the slogans? I mean, I don't just mean glory to Ukraine, glory to the heroes that we have our politicians saying. I mean the literal, the SS. Have you seen it? It's unbelievable. Finance with us. I wonder if we're going to at least double-stitch those uniforms. You know, the original Nazis, they had Hugo Boss, double-stitch wide lapels. Donley Auctions in Union is now taking consignments if you have any of that stuff. If you have any modern or antique guns, military collectibles, slot machines, jukeboxes, coin-operated games, vintage automobiles or motorcycles, gas and oil signs. Whew. I like to go on the site and buy them, but if you want to sell them, you give Randy Donley a call, 815-923-7000. For over 40 years, they've helped thousands of people sell their antique collections and get top dollar for them. It's an easy process. They do all the work. You get the check. One item or an entire collection, Donley conducts themed monthly auctions, both live and on the World Wide Web, guaranteeing you get top dollar for your items. Oil paintings, bronzes, music boxes, coins. If you've collected it, Donley Auctions can sell it. Contact them today for a free No obligation assessment of your items. They travel coast to coast for collections. They also liquidate entire estates. Go to DonleyAuctions.com to contact them and view their upcoming auctions. DonleyAuctions.com. When I get back, I will take your calls if you're on the line. We're going to cover a little bit more of the real Democrat illusion of our society, how they've bastardized it, along with a lot of help from Republicans, not just the Illinois ones, which seem to be the most helpful. We'll discuss that after Nikki Whaley in the news.
Thanks, Shaun. Good afternoon. It's 54 degrees in Chicago. I'm Nikki Whaley in the AM 560 The Answer newsroom. The House Minority Leader is blaming Democrats for the country's soaring gas prices. California Republican Kevin McCarthy pointed to his home state governor Gavin Newsom along with President Biden for causing oil prices to rise. He noted Newsom's decision to stop oil production in the state is a huge cause. Supreme Court nominee Ketanji Brown Jackson says all criminal suspects deserve fair treatment. Jackson made the comment after being questioned about her past representation of terror detainees at Guantanamo Bay. She was working as a federal public defender at the time. A Chicago police officer is recovering from injuries after driving into a tree on the city's west side. The collision happened early this morning on the 700 block of North Lamont Avenue. The officer taken to the hospital is in good condition. 2 more northern Illinois counties will be placed under quarantine to control the spread of the destructive pest known as the gypsy moth. The pest will destroy trees and shrubs. Boone and Winnebago counties will join Cook, DuPage, Kane, Kendall, LaSalle, Lake, McHenry, and Will counties in the department's quarantine order. Under the quarantine, all nursery and lumber products must be inspected or certified before they can be transported out of the 10 counties. News is a service of the Daybreak Insider podcast. Hear the latest reporting and analysis of the day's most important stories each weekday morning on the Daybreak Insider podcast. Subscribe for free today at daybreakinsider.com. The next news update comes your way at 5 o'clock. Continuous coverage of the latest news, traffic, and weather at 560theanswer.com. From the MorrisonSecurity.com Traffic Center, here's Jill Urchak.
Here's another check of the rainy roads right now. Outbound Eden to 20, inbound heavy. 36 minutes, Lake Cook Road to Montrose. On the outbound side of the Kennedy, it is 50 minutes out to the airport. Inbound side about an hour, and traffic slows right at Fullerton with a stall on the exit ramp. Outbound side of the Eisenhower, hour and 5 out to 390, back in at 1 hour. Crash right at Independence, now off to the side. Stevenson out 1 hour and 5 to 355, inbound side about 46 minutes. Circle out to 95th on the Dan Ryan, 38 minutes going in. Give yourself about 35, and that's not budging from 31st all the way into downtown. Pretty heavy now on the tri-state, both directions. Solid traffic southbound, 159th down to 80. Traffic is a service of the AM 560 Advantage. Membership has its privileges, including early access to event tickets, exclusive contest opportunities, and special members-only content. Join today at 560theanswer.com/join. From the MorrisonSecurity.com Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchak.
Now, your official weather forecast.
Cloudy tonight with occasional rain, low 41. Occasional rain for tomorrow, high 45. Thursday night, a passing shower, low 36. And sun and clouds for Friday with a high 51. I'm Andy Robb on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com. Have you heard the news?
The Players Union says it's voted to accept the latest MLB proposal.
Season starts April 7th.
The average price of gas has now hit $4.19 a gallon.
It's painful. As the prices today, the costs are going to be higher if we do not act now to deal with this tyrant.
There are no lights, no water.
Targeting civilians is a war crime.
Putin shows no sign of engaging in serious diplomacy.
What happens next happens here. AM 560, The Answer.
If cold winter calls have turned into warm spring leads, you need Indeed, the all-in-one platform to interview, screen, and hire quality people. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
If you're purchasing a new home, refinancing your existing home, securing a VA loan, or reverse mortgage, you need to call Team Hochberg, your trusted local lender. Credit scores are the main factor determining the interest rate when securing a mortgage, which are based upon listeners' past payment history and credit utilization. High credit card balances equal low credit utilization, which reduce credit scores. Low credit card balances equal high credit utilization, which increase credit scores. The best and quickest way to enhance your credit is to increase your credit utilization by paying off or paying down your credit cards every Friday or every time you get paid. If you can pay your cards off every week, you will increase your utilization. You will never have more than 1 week's worth of charges on your credit cards. Team Hochberg has helped thousands of radio listeners enhance their credit before securing a mortgage, but we can't help if you don't call 855-56-DAVID or visit 56david.com. That's 855-563-2843 or visit our website, 56david.com. Homeside Financial Legal Housing Lender, NMLS 1124061.
You know, the world we live in, adequate security just isn't good enough. There's a new need and a new standard. Your security company must use industry-leading standards to protect the people, the property, at a whole new level. This is Shaun Morrison of Morrison Security. We provide armed and unarmed security services all over America, from Florida to Las Vegas to our home base in Chicago, custom tailored to our clients' individual needs. Simple, preventative, and protection services to locking down high-value assets and everything in between. With Morrison Security, it's handled. Our decades of experience offers a wide range of services. Go to morrisonsecurity.com for more details about our first-rate security services. We will use our talents and skills to help you create and execute a security plan that is what you want, desire, and need. Morrison Security, your security partner. Go to morrisonsecurity.com. Call us or chat online at morrisonsecurity.com.
This hour of the Shaun Thompson Show is brought to you exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. Sell or buy, go to Donley.
AM 560. The Answer.
Squirrel hands, love it. It's even better in person to see you up close. I forgot just how dainty your features are. Splendid. Good song, though. It's Santana, right? See? When I know something, it's a really good song. All right, let's go to Tim in Chicago for a layup. Tim in Chicago.
Hey, Dan.
Shaun. Dan's taller and uglier and with no personality.
I was going to tell you, love the show. I hope you roast his butt tonight pretty good.
Oh, it's tomorrow. It's tomorrow. It's the only reason I'm here, and I'm going to.
Tomorrow, sorry.
Yes, that's all right.
So, Florida real estate, are you involved in building any new multifamily properties out there with your highfalutin friends?
I broker. I have a small boutique brokerage, and okay. I do know a very good developer who is a wonderful guy. He doesn't need my help, and he's got a lot of stuff going on.
Good.
And the reason
we're going to need the rooms.
Yeah, and that's the thing. The reason he's got a lot of stuff going on is that people from all of these utopian Marxist mafias have had enough of it. And they've had enough of it because they realize there's no real pushback against it. There's just the scum that wants second crumbs. And those are Illinois Republicans for the most part, except for a few. So it's interesting.
Amen.
You know, and your original question, we got a bad connection. Your original question is, what's the difference? And the difference is simple. It's a corruption tax versus a non-corruption tax. And I don't just mean because here's something that's astonishing, Squirrel Hands. You're going to love this because you're a young kid, right? And if you were my son, which you could be. I haven't seen a picture of your mother, but there's a chance. Anyway, you would see that your future would be more equitable financially if you went to a state that didn't have a corruption tax. Corruption taxes happen in a variety of different ways. But in real estate is the hardest place for the person to work out of it. And, when you think of these homes in these mediocre areas, and I include my area, Elmwood Park, River Forest, Oak Park, and, you go north or south or whatever it is, and you see that these homes are of today's money at $400,000, let's say. But in 2000, before the crash from 2000 to 2008, they were at that $400,000. People can't wrap their head around the fact they've lost 50% when you adjust the money. Along with, they're paying $10,000 a year, and I'm being low on a lot of these, for property taxes. When you buy a $1.5 million house in Florida today, the property taxes are $9,400. In some cases, they're $7,200 because they don't have that culture of corruption that Illinois has slowly built to where people tolerate it. And they do it through political corruption. That's all it is. And they cut the sweetheart jobs. and the mindless money laundering schemes. And then something as simple as the license plate sticker on your car. I just went today because my wife and we have 2 cars here. And I haven't been here since November, really, for any length of time. So I said, okay, well, my wife wants to have the car so we don't get pulled over. I like to get pulled over. I meet nice people that way. Anyway, it's $186 or $184 per sticker. And in states that are run well, it's $32 for the same sticker. But the Illinoisan is used to that. And the Illinoisan, for some reason of love and affection, they stay. Who are not in on the scam. Now, if you're in on that scam, my recommendation is don't leave, boys and girls. Because this is the only place you could pull that off. Law-abiding states don't tolerate this kind of open and notorious corruption. They don't. They're steeped in principles and law, and they don't tolerate the scandal we accept. Whether it's a Democrat politician coming out and saying, we have a surplus, when everyone knows the state is bankrupt. I mean, everybody knows it. It's why you have those costs. It's why you pay 82 cents a gallon on tax and think it's normal. That's the other thing. You come from a state that doesn't have that. And you get off the plane or whatever it is, and you see 70 cents a gallon. It's a lot of money. I was raised by a lady that never made over $15,000 a year. Never. Every year. And those are the kind of differences that erode the quality of life. But the character of the citizen is different than back then. Because back then there was a stigma. You didn't want to be on welfare because then you admitted you could not exist without a corrupt politician paying you off, helping you. And you had to justify this philosophy that Illinois and Democrats have taken for granted now. And now it's just normal to go after and limit some people in the name of others. And the whole time take eyes off of why? That big body of corrupt politicians in the middle. And in there lies our real problem. So these Pelosi clips that I'm going to play for you are not the ones that I don't think you're going to hear all over. Because the redistricting that's going on, as everyone thinks, this is it. America's had enough. Diapers Biden has done it so big, he's even going to lose Democrats. Don't think so. Because as things get worse, the feudalism gets worse. The Democrat generosity of someone else's money, the whole time protecting those companies and those people who bribe them, it gets greater. So Nancy Pelosi was at a talk where she let her hair down. That's where you got the clip of she eats like a peasant and the rest of it. And they were asked about Eric Holder. See, all things go back to that era. That 90s scum Democrat, that Clintonoid, that's where they really perfected it. I say it had a lot to do with Mena, Arkansas, and how that little hub where he was governor became the drug capital of America. Did you know that? Oh, yeah, Pablo Escobar used to fly stuff right there. Nobody knew about it. Not the CIA or nothing. It's crazy. Anyway, that's where they were taught how to navigate the political prostitution we now accept. And they're going to fight to keep that in place. The reason that they had to take advantage of COVID, which whether they released it or not is we're never going to find out. But the reason they had to change the voter balloting, harvesting, and the rest of it was because they knew what was at stake. Control of the world. As you heard Joe Biden say, we're building a new world order. So Pelosi wanted to tell Democrats, because there are people out there who live on this sustenance. I mean, they're talking big money here, kid. You get these contracts. What do you think these Guidos that go to Tom's Steakhouse and swallow a stool with their derriere pretend to be contractors? What do you think they do it for? They're talking big money, whole phony lifestyle. They're going to protect this crime syndicate called the Democrat Mafia and the gangster government of America. They're going to protect it. And she's going to tell you who's in charge. You remember Eric Holder? Or were you too young? You were back in college. Eric Holder was a real scumbag, not just because he wanted to defend for free, kind of like our new former Action Jackson, the new Supreme Court Justice. He wanted to defend the terrorists for free back then. But because he had good ideas like Fast and Furious. Did you ever hear of this one? Oh, great stuff. He was going to give guns we captured away to cartel members to see who they were. Give millions and millions of guns and everything, and then they were used, and they're still used to kill people. Then they want gun control. So he is a real bad player, but a smart scumbag lawyer, like the Illinois GOP in Chicago. And he's in charge of redistricting throughout the country. Did you know that? Not a lot of people did. Nancy wanted to shed a little light, calm some fears of the Democrat mafia.
So Eric Holder has been the head of something called and it's not really political, it may
Careful,
sound,
Nancy.
the National Democratic Redistricting Committee.
See, now, this is important because they have all of these front groups, all of these ad-arm bagmen that they could funnel all kinds of money to. Because when you have a group like this, you don't know who's giving it money. It could be somebody like Xi Jinping or Vladimir Putin or the comedian in Ukraine who's worth $600 million. Nobody wants to know why. Or Ihor Kolomoisky, who made that comedian worth $600 million. They're all good guys, though. Don't worry about it. In fact, I heard he was Winston Churchill, or is it George Washington? I don't know. Somebody with Nazis.
Which is to try to get redistricting to be apolitical. It's just apolitical, and to do it by commission, to do it to meet certain standards of the Voting Rights Act that we hope to have, and the Constitution of the United States, honoring those things.
Yeah, honoring. The way they do in Illinois. When they take Chuy Garcia. Chuy Garcia, you know who he is? Oh, Chuy Garcia is if I would have been an Illinois resident, he'd be my congressman. And before him, it was Louis Gutierrez. Hell of an investor, Louis Gutierrez. Really an incredible real estate investor. Of course, he never paid real estate taxes. Kind of helps. And Chuy Garcia, when you call his office, you get his cousin. Hey, how you doing? I mean, it's like a Cheech and Chong skit. It's unbelievable. So they take that low-life district, and they stretch it to engulf all the suburbs that are Republican. They draw it, the Democrats, like it's a cartoon because they're making fun of everybody. And they negate all the votes, and that's how you get to the position you're in. And then they take the Republican committeemen and the chairman, and then they cut them in on their scams, so they make sure there's never too big of a fight against it or too much exposure. And that's how you build a syndicate. Ruin a state and a country and a county like Illinois. And now they're doing it nationwide. This is a big story. 312-642-5600.
This is the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
We all want to eat healthy, but have you ever read the ingredients list off of your favorite snack? Between the hard-to-pronounce ingredients and man-made additives, it's difficult to find anything made from real, natural ingredients. Even some of my favorite organic snacks have ingredients I haven't heard of. At Balance of Nature, we know the value of real nutrition that can only be found in real food. That's why the only things you'll find on our ingredients list are real whole fruits and vegetables. No additives, fillers, or artificial ingredients of any kind. Balance of Nature is the best whole fruit and vegetable product on the market, delivering your body everything it needs to function at its very best. Eat better and feel better. Start your journey to better health. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com to get free shipping. And don't forget to get 35% off your first preferred order by using discount code CHICAGO.
Hi, I'm David, and I'm the president of Century Security in Wheeling, Illinois. Several years ago, we started working with Turnkey. We hired them to be our IT services company when things were falling apart on the IT side. They helped us pull things together, and they did so well at IT that when they started their consulting business, we wanted to do more with them. We hired the consultants at Turnkey to help me take a look at my business and figure out what was most important. We hired them to build a roadmap for us for the next 3 to 5 years to help us figure out how to grow, how to staff, and what to do with our business. As a result, we have made some decisions to do some things a little bit differently, and I'm very excited about the direction we're headed. I highly recommend that you take a look at Turnkey. They can help you with IT, they can help you with planning your future, and they can help you figure out what's most important.
Visit turnkey.pro today. Turnkey.pro.
Did you miss the open enrollment this year? I can help you purchase a PPO health insurance plan all year long that eliminates the mandatory maternity coverage. This is Tom Marabali, and if you're 50 years old and are covered by the Affordable Care Act, you're paying for maternity coverage whether you want the coverage or not. The least expensive ACA PPO health insurance plan is $540 per month with a total out-of-pocket cost of $8,550 before your bills are paid at 100%. I can eliminate the mandatory maternity coverage and lower your monthly premium down to $273 per month with a total out-of-pocket cost of $2,500 before your bills are paid at 100%. That's a savings of $6,050 in total out-of-pocket cost per person with my lower deductible, and you save $267 per month with my lower premiums. For a free quote and to see if you qualify, call me, Tom Maraboli, at 630-863-3477. That's 630-863-3477.
Have you ever thought you'd like to buy and sell houses but didn't know how or where to get the money? My name is Ron LeGrand, and over the past 40 years, I've bought over 3,000 houses without using my money or credit and taught thousands to do the same. Today, even in a virtual environment, we buy nice houses in nice neighborhoods using no banks, realtors, contractors, or other costly entanglements, and build huge cash flow and wealth without the hassle of tenants, all without credit and little or no money. You don't need a license or experience, and I'll show you exactly how it's done. Text RON to 99799 and I'll send you my free training. I promise I'll change the way you think about real estate and open the door to a new lifestyle that doesn't involve risk or rehabs and can quickly replace your current income. Text RON to 99799 and let me show you how to take your life back and build cash flow and wealth from your home. That's RON to 99799. Again, text RON to 99799.
AM 560, The Answer.
I wonder why any of the media is not bringing up so many of the seeds that were laid for this crop of not just corruption, but this circumstance of a third world war. I wonder why no one is talking about these historic open and notorious examples of political prostitution by the Barack Obama administration. I mean, I know that we're supposed to pretend that this 80-year-old moron hasn't been bought and sold so many times he's like a hooker on a naval base. But the reality is he is. And I love when they run cover. I really, really do. Nobody does it like our own monotone. Little butter-handed Dick Durbin. Little Dick Durbin. Wife. You ever see the old lady? Oh, rough. You know, as Democrats go, she's gorgeous. She turns out she's a lobbyist. And virtually everybody that gave her money got exactly what they wanted. Oh, it's amazing. So they're very sophisticated. And if you talk in a real monotone voice, no one will ever think you're a real gangster, but you are. So he runs cover for affirmative action Jackson, which I still say we should have done Carney B. I like that song with the back it up. Yeah, let's get that going.
And here's the point. Most of this information was published in the Washington...
Wait. Did you say the song is WAP? It's called WAP? The song is WAP. Get a sample of that, because I don't like the way this is going. You know, I grew up in Melrose Park. I'm half Italian. I don't like that little insult there. What about us? Anybody could insult the Italians. I don't want to talk about what it means. You know, it's probably vulgar. All right, let's go to Little Dick Durbin.
And here's the point. Most of this information was published in the Washington Post 5 days ago. All right? This is not confidential information.
You mean about her being easy on pedophiles and sex offenders and whatnot? Well, sure, Little Dick Durbin. She's a Democrat, such as yourself. You're easy on him, too. And not the way that Pete Silvestri is in the Forest Preserve, but you're easy on him legally.
When the Hawley attack on the judge started, we requested more information. The White House did. And then shared it with us within the day, and you now have the same copy that we have. End of story.
Is it fair for you to characterize Senator Hawley's questions or the questions raised by any of us as an attack?
Yes, when you question the mafia, you're attacking it. Come on, Mike Lee. You got that 1960s hairdo. I thought you'd be smarter than this.
It's not a personal attack. This is
tell you.
No, it is a personal attack. When you point out someone like Peanut Head Kim Fox is clearly, if not directly working for the drug-dealing scum of Chicago that's killing kids, then indirectly, and must be benefiting some way, you're attacking her rather than pointing out you're releasing murderers and rapists within hours, and not to mention gun offenders. You're attacking her. Stop attacking her, you racist pig.
We've raised a legitimate question regarding sentencing, regarding the most heinous crimes imaginable.
Oh, come on.
So these are legitimate questions, Mr. Chairman. Don't call them attacks.
Oh, come on. Pedophilia, child porn. It's not heinous. Little Dick Durbin says it isn't. It's not heinous at all. In fact, in Chicago, it's called Tuesday.
Well, I can just tell you, I have characterized them as attacks and other things as well. I think it's pretty clear what's going on here. And now you have all the information we have.
1984. Never had a job in his life. Had a fake position as a half-ass professor at the University of Illinois, which is where they run all of their Marxist Saul Alinsky lights through. And then they go have lunch at Manny's Corned Beef. Is that place still in existence? Because I've seen a lot of places that aren't. Another benefit of this Democrat mafia. Of course, if you're in, then you get these scumbags as customers, and then you get the PPP loans. And, you could also hire the alderman, the little tiny ones. Madigan, if he's not available, you hire that fake gangster. Eddie Burke, with the pinstripe suit, the Viagra in his pocket, $30 hooker, wife that's a Supreme Court justice. You know what I'm talking about? You could hire him, and they lower your taxes then. That's how you run a city, county, and state, baby. 312-642-5600.
This is the Shaun Thompson Show, where Democrats are always wrong, Republicans are seldom right, and politicians are never, ever to be trusted. On AM 560, The Answer.
Tunnel to Towers Foundation broke ground on its Do Good Village in Land O'Lakes, Florida. It's the first of its kind, a community of 110 homes for the foundation's program recipients. So together, families can heal. A special place where families know that their neighbors understand and care. Donate $11 a month to Tunnel to Towers at T2T.org. T2T.org. That's T, the number 2, T.org.
Hi, this is Rhett Rasmussen of BestHotGrill.com. We make the amazing Solaire infrared gas grills that are built to last and will consistently deliver better than restaurant grilled food. The Solaire infrared burner heats up to 1,000 degrees in just 3 minutes, even in the dead of winter. The high heat locks in the juices and flavor and grills food faster. Learn more about these fantastic USA-made grills at BestHotGrill.com. Solaire hot, fast grills at BestHotGrill.com.
Dan Proft here again from Northridge Prep. You've heard me talk about Northridge before, but what exactly makes this school so special? In short, it's the all-boys environment. Boys can just be boys, but surrounded with mentors and teachers who build them up into men of intellect and character who love God. They've been doing it for nearly 50 years, and one of the things that stands out to me is their commitment to partnering with parents. Now, you hear this with a lot of schools, but at Northridge, the parents can't stop talking about it. They've built a community that really works together. Raising kids is hard in this crazy world, and at Northridge, you can be confident your son is on the right path. They're having an open house on Sunday, April 3rd. If you've got a son going into middle school or high school, you've got to check it out.
Come experience the difference for yourself. Don't miss the Northridge Prep Spring Open House, Sunday, April 3rd, for families with sons entering 6th to 10th grade. Discover the campus, meet the faculty, and learn about the programs. Register now at northridgeprep.org. Again, that's northridgeprep.org.
Hi, I'm Al Abaroa, founder of Knight Strategic Wealth. Inflation is picking up, markets are volatile, and the dream of a comfortable retirement is harder to attain than ever before. Nobody wants to run out of money in retirement. That's why I'm going to share something that your financial advisor doesn't want you to know. With our investment strategy, when the stock market goes up, you earn a market-linked return that locks in every year. And when the stock market goes down, your investments won't lose a dime. There are no unnecessary fees, and it works for your investments, money at a brokerage firm, or even money at a bank. It's simple, it's safe, and that's why savvy investors work with us. Want to learn more? Text free to 833-898-0500, and we'll send our retirement readiness kit directly to your phone right now. If you want to help build a retirement portfolio that will go up with the market and never lose money, get our retirement readiness kit today and see how this strategy can help secure your future. Text free to 833-898-0500. Text free to 833-898-0500.
It's news, opinion, insight. It's AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago.
Do you know the park that's going to cost $7 million across the street from Nancy Pelosi's house spends over $600,000 on solar lights, and the park closes at dark? I love this stuff. I really do. Infrastructure. We could have the best. We have the best oil, the lightest, the sweetest, the most abundant. We could solve these problems overnight. You think the Democrats are going to help? We're going to bring on Gordy Holton, who's an optimist and keeps trying to explain we have the infrastructure. Let's make ourselves rich instead of tyrants around the world. That'll be after Nikki Whaley.
Thanks, Sean. Good afternoon. It's 52 degrees in Chicago. At 5 o'clock in the AM 560 The Answer Newsroom, I'm Nikki Whaley. Russian forces have committed war crimes during the war in Ukraine. That's according to Secretary of State Anthony Blinken. President Biden himself recently called Russian President Vladimir Putin a war criminal Blinken noted that the war crimes assessment was made by using public and intelligence sources. President Biden's Supreme Court nominee is facing sharp questions from Republicans about the work she did as a public defender. Senator John Cornyn of Texas took issue with the words of Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson used in legal briefs.
Why in the world would you call Secretary of Defense Rumsfeld and George W. Bush war criminals? It seems so out of character for you.
He and other members of the GOP suggest that her work in the case went beyond just giving a competent defense. Jackson worked as a federal public defender in the mid-2000s. She was assigned the cases and then continued when she moved into private practice. Today is day 3 of her confirmation hearing. Local millionaire businessman Willie Wilson is giving away more free gas money in Chicago. The former mayoral candidate is donating $1 million worth of gas at dozens of gas stations across the city tomorrow. The giveaway begins at 7 a.m. Wilson's giveaway last week triggered long traffic jams. The city is providing resources to prevent any traffic congestion tomorrow. News is a service of Dan and Amy 24/7. You can now enjoy uninterrupted programming from Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson around the clock all day, every day, including daily replays of Chicago's Morning Answer. Listen now at danamy247.com. Time now for the AM 560 Business Beat.
I'm Connell McShane. This is the Fox Business Report.
Stocks declining and oil prices jumping as concerns about rising energy prices, supply chain shortages, and inflation once again rattled investors. On a historical note, Wednesday is the second anniversary of the lows set in the U.S. during the stock market COVID collapse of 2020. The Nasdaq and S&P 500 have more than doubled, rising over 100% in the past 2 years. The Dow falling 449 points, the Nasdaq down 186. S&P 500 down 55. And KB home shares are falling in the extended session after reporting better than expected quarterly sales. However, the home builder said supply chain issues intensified during the period. And those working at Wall Street firms received hefty bonuses last year, jumping 20% to a record high of over $257,000, according to the New York State Comptroller. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Hillary Barsky, invested in you.
Balance of Nature, changing the world one life at a time.
I'm a physician, and I still see patients every day. And, so I tell my patients about this. And they ask me, well, what are you taking? And so I tell them, taking Balance of Nature. And they go, oh, yeah, I've heard about that. So I tell them how to get it. I give them your telephone number, 246-8751. And I tell them, call this number. And I said, they'll take care of you after that. So, I'm primary care. I really think that it works well for people to have fruits and vegetables.
Start your journey to better health with Balance of Nature right now. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com for more information or to place your order. Shipping is always free. And don't forget to get 35% off your first order as a preferred customer by using discount code Chicago.
This week on RVER, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
Hey, Chief, we got a damaged RV on its way to the OR.
Well, that sounds like a job for the new head of RV surgery.
Wait, are you promoting me?
Congrats, Martinez.
Doctor, that RV's flatlining.
Well, that sounds like a job for the new head of nursing.
So you're just promoting everyone now?
Yeah, kind of looks that way, doesn't it?
When your RV really needs saving, Progressive has you covered. See if you could save with a leader in RV insurance. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, covered subject to policy terms.
On 9/11, 2,977 people were killed in terrorist attacks on American soil. And the Tunnel to Towers Foundation has been supporting America's heroes and their families ever since. Our nation's heroes, people who put their lives on the line for our country and our communities, need your help. Join Tunnel to Towers on its mission to do good in their honor. Donate $11 a month at T2T.org. That's T2T.org.
Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer. From the AM 560 Traffic Center.
Good afternoon. During this wet rush hour, outbound Eden's wide open, inbound 42, in from Lake Cook Road to Montrose. On the outbound Kennedy, it's about an hour and 5 going in, hour and 10 O'Hare on in. Eisenhower out, it's about an hour and 10 out to 390 Crescent Mill. It is on the shoulder, inbound hour and 25 into downtown. Now the Stevenson out slows to an hour and 20 minutes as well, out to 355, while the inbound side is a 40-minute ride. Crash inbound side of the Dan Ryan at 69. 2 right lanes are blocked, that's backing up at 75th. Circle out to 95th jammed at 35 minutes. Express lanes there are tight right around the Stevenson out to Marquette. There are delays, scattered delays along DuSable Lakeshore Drive as well as the Tri-States. Traffic is a service of the daily podcasts of Chicago's Morning Answer and the Shaun Thompson Show. Hear both shows with limited commercials when you subscribe for free to the daily podcast at 560theanswer.com/podcast. From the MorrisonSecurity.com Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchak.
Now, your official weather forecast.
Overnight, we'll see occasional rain and drizzle, the low 41. Thursday, occasional rain and drizzle, the high 45. Friday, times of sun and clouds, breezy in the afternoon with a high of 51. Plan with confidence. Download the redesigned AccuWeather app today. I'm Drew Shannon on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
This hour of the Shaun Thompson Show is brought to you exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. Sell or buy, go to Donley.
From the streets of Melrose Park to the trading floor of the Merc, he's fought for every dollar he's ever earned. And now, with personal liberty and our system of capitalism under assault in America, he's here to seize back our rights from the government. With a cigar in one hand and a copy of the Declaration of Independence in the other, he's Shaun Thompson. And this is the Shaun Thompson Show.
This looks like a job for me, so everybody just follow me, because we need a little controversy.
2012, an oil discovery was found over the northwest quarter of this country. Oceans and oceans of oil. Virtually every state has it. In fact, Illinois, oil-rich state, coal-rich state. Not only that, 14 nuclear, what do they call nuclear power plants? 14, all shut down by government. Government has hamstrung, has cut the Achilles tendon of this country through their green energy swindle. Yet sooner or later, they're going to have to admit it. I mean, or we could just keep enriching terrible despots around the world, you know, the ones that the CIA has been bribing for decades. We could just continue to enrich them as we destroy the quality of life in America. But there are good people that are putting up a fight against that. Gordy Holton is one of those people. Gordy Holton joined the Illinois Manufacturers Association in 2019. He's actually been in politics for quite a while, but he seems to be one of the good guys. I will decide. Gordy, thank you for joining me. How are you?
I'm good, Shaun. Thanks for having me.
So we do have quite a lot of the answers right here in the country that, you know, was the youngest and the richest because we had the smallest government. Yet as this government has become so omnipotent and so powerful, we've become quite small. And we are in crisis after crisis after crisis. We can kind of solve the one we're in when it comes to gas and oil, can't we?
Well, absolutely. America is blessed with ridiculously abundant natural resources, an incredible workforce, and great energy companies that repeatedly push us to the brink of energy independence. And then, you know, occasionally government decides to step in and put their finger on the scale a little bit and try and shift that our economy away from domestic energy independence as much as they can, I think.
And you've been around this for quite a while. I mean, you've been around these politicians for quite a while. I have come to the conclusion it is because they understand that if you have a strong economy, if you have strong business people, strong citizens, they don't need the politicians. Politicians are rooted out for inept, incompetent, or corrupt. And there's a system that we now have where we have bought the willful servitude and gone into it. Why would they ever relinquish this power they have over us, especially when they have such atrocities in place, like the idea of CO2 and our exhaling being used against us and obviously a form of taxation? Why would they ever turn over the idea that companies could pull out the natural energy America is blessed with?
Well, I don't know about the motivations behind it, but I do know that we have an administration in Washington right now that in one of its first actions, shut down and discouraged American energy development, halted federal leasing, made it more difficult for existing leases to be seen through. And those are long-term projects. Each one of those leases, an onshore takes 3 to 5 years, an offshore takes 8 to 10 years to develop. They have to be developed within 10 years, so there's certain regulatory hurdles. And we have, again, the resources here in the United States of America. We have American companies who employ Americans and pay taxes, who can help us use that energy to make our country energy independent, which helps our national security, again, helps provide jobs for thousands of Americans, and pays taxes here domestically.
However, if you do that, then these countries that are that are despotic and seize the oil for their own royal family and the rest of it, it would negate their investment in so many of our politicians that they guarantee these policies to neuter America and enrich them. The idea that, I've been paying attention to this for decades. The idea that we don't take advantage of what Rockefeller tapped in the pipelines, in the natural gas, in all of it. In fact, in some instances, we have the natural gas just going off into the air. We have Anwar. You don't have to drill. You just got to pump more. We have how many oil rigs that are shut down because of regulation and taxation and the rest of it. Do you think
and we have a great example here in Illinois where the Illinois Manufacturers Association led the charge years ago for to open the possibility of hydraulic fracturing for natural gas here in Illinois, where we have an abundant supply. But the regulatory environment created by this state is the most onerous in the nation, and so we see our neighboring states producing natural gas on a scale that's not economically feasible here in Illinois because of the regulatory environment.
Gordy, if that was a different scenario, if that was a different story, and that was able to be tapped, would ComEd have the monopoly it now has over the people of Illinois?
I don't know. I don't know that I got the expertise to speak to that. But again, we have opportunities here, given the correct, given more sane policy choices to take advantage of Illinois energy resources, to take advantage of American energy resources, so that we're not dependent on foreign countries, we're not dependent on other states, and so this nonstop roller coaster ride that we seem to be on lately of energy prices, because it is a global commodity, we can smooth out our own participation in that, and improve our citizens' lives, provide employment, and create a more sustainable, stable market for all of us.
What's the optimism level among the Illinois Manufacturers Association from the time you joined in 2019 to now? What have you seen as far as the growth of that or the shrinking of that organization?
So tremendously optimistic. I believe, and believe even more so now than I did when I joined in 2019, that Illinois is perfectly poised to be the manufacturing powerhouse of the United States and therefore of the world. We have a world-class workforce. We have incredible transportation infrastructure. We have abundant energy resources. What we lack are good policies in place to sort of nurture that. And we've done some work in the last couple of years, for example, on the REV Act, which promotes, electrification of vehicles. We've done a similar job this spring on something called the Micro Act to try to create state-level economic development incentives to bring microchip manufacturing back to the United States and back to Illinois. Because right now, such an enormous proportion of microchips on which every device in the world depends, our military depends. 70% of those are made in Asia. The really technical ones that power, our national security stuff, over 90% of those are made in America. It's not just an employment issue or a market fairness issue. It's a national security issue. We need to reshore microchip manufacturing back here into Illinois and the United States. And the Micro Act, which has passed the Senate unanimously in Illinois and is currently pending in the House, will help us do that.
We have a tendency to regulate business out of the country. We've seen it in these regulatory heavy states. They regulate it to different states, and then other states take advantage of it. How did the microchip business, which was really invented here, how did it ever go overseas? What was the climate? What was the regulation that damned it overseas, where we don't want to see how it's made? We just need the product, kind of like oil.
I think there was for many years, the global market presented opportunities in terms of ease of transport, cheap transportation of goods, raw materials, and then finished products around the world. And the global economy sort of redistributed to reflect that. And what we've seen, especially in the last 24 months, folks have woken up and realized that the things that we really need when we have a crisis like a pandemic or a war in Europe, we don't produce enough of it here at home, whether it's face masks, ventilators, or energy. We've offshored so much of that when there is a crisis, we face those market fluctuations without much of a safety net, and Americans pay the price.
But if you go back throughout history, right, this didn't just happen overnight. We're not like, so, we don't believe that history started this morning because we got up. If you look back at the whole system, is this not something that inspired so much of our import-export and more import than export business anyway? Is that the regulatory bodies, the fraudulent costs?
Certainly regulation plays a huge part in it.
And costs of health care, costs of Social Security, the forced union labor. Isn't that all part of our bigger problem?
The regulatory environment plays a huge part in that. But again, there is a national security implication to this and an economic security implication to this, that manufacturing needs to be brought back to Illinois, brought back to the United States, and that's a part of the work that we do at the Illinois Manufacturers Association and the advocacy that we provide.
Are you seeing an opportunity for that to continue to grow? Our politicians who were maybe not so open to your ideas or your suggestions, are they more open through the recognition of their own failure, or is this going to be another uphill battle for you?
Well, I think the pandemic and the current energy crisis has opened a lot of eyes to the necessity of bringing more energy production back to the states, and more production of our critical supplies, equipment, food, you name it. We need to produce more of it here so that we can be more reliant on ourselves instead of on others. Should
we have more pipelines or less?
We should have as many pipelines as the market, dictates. We have a capitalist system which allows the market to drive decisions like that, and we produce enough energy here. And if pipelines are the most economically feasible, safest.
I like this. I like the idea that it's market sensitive and that the market drives it. But when you see it, when you see climate change and when you see an agenda of control be politicized to something as obvious as the Keystone Pipeline, for example, I know everyone's talking about it, but the reality is, if that was open, we wouldn't be in this pickle. And we had another 2% to go. We had estimates of 6 weeks more to completion. Does that not just fry you?
Well, all of these regulatory challenges have created this current situation where we're paying more for energy than we should had other policy choices been made. And at the Illinois Manufacturers Association, we believe in an all of the above energy policy. Manufacturers consume about a third of all energy in the United States of America. So when prices go up, we pay a proportionate share of it. And nobody has been more energy efficient, more conservation minded than manufacturers over the years because we pay for the energy we consume.
Right.
And so we're the innovators who are pushing those energy efficiency programs forward.
So the market decided at one point Illinois would have 14 nuclear plants. Have you ever been satisfied with why? I think what are two operational and even not to capacity. Have you ever been satisfied with why we have the rest of them collecting dust?
I'm not. I don't know that the majority of those have been closed. There was the energy bill in Illinois last year, for example, included some support for nuclear power plants, and nuclear is a part of that all of the above energy strategy. It's got to be gas, coal, natural gas, nuclear, renewables. Again, manufacturers consume so much energy that we're very price sensitive, very conscious about how much we use, and we'd like to have options.
Do you have a bill on the table now that you're excited about?
The Micro Act in particular is something I think that can really do a lot of good for the state of Illinois and for the United States of America, particularly in those high tech areas where we're so sensitive in terms of national security. And if we have a crisis in Asia, like we have now in Europe, our microchip supply is a concern. We already see American manufacturers who have had to slow or limit production of critical things because they can't get their hands on enough microchips in order to produce their products.
Is this not something you can fast track? This seems like a no-brainer.
Well, it passed the Senate unanimously, and we've had a productive hearing in the House, and the legislature is scheduled to adjourn April 8th, so hopefully we'll have some concrete action on it in the next couple of weeks.
Great. So if the aliens or the zombies don't attack by April 8th, I look forward to you celebrating. All right? I want to thank you for what you do, Gordy. I mean it. I mean, it's wonderful
Shaun.
that you
Thank
keep
for what you do.
this push. I really love it. So keep it up and come back anytime you want to update us on some optimism. We could use it. Gordy Holton, thank you so much for joining me. Illinois Manufacturers Association. Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll be back with your calls and comments after this.
Broadcasting from the petri dish of corruption known as the state of Illinois.
In the upper Midwest, the nation, and around the world.
This is the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
Grandview buys homes. Hi, I'm Tom Detlich, and I have great news for people who want to sell their home, particularly a home that needs work, but are worried about the current health conditions we are living with. You've heard that Grandview Homes is the fastest and easiest way to sell your home. No listing your home with real estate agents, no weeks or months of complete strangers walking through your house night and day, touching who knows what, only to have the sale fall through and then starting all over again. For years, Grandview has been buying homes in as little as 10 days after a brief walkthrough by one of our professional home buying specialists. But now, given the current health conditions, Grandview is making the process even faster, easier, and safer. Now we'll make an offer on your home no matter the condition without a personal visit. No one comes to your home, so no worries about your security or your health. We still make a fair cash offer in as little as 24 hours. If you like the offer, only then do we arrange to see the home in person. If you don't like our offer, no problem, you have nothing to lose. So call or visit the name you know and the name you trust. GrandviewHomes.com.
You want your basement to be dry most of the time? If so, Permaseal is not the company for you. At Permaseal, we believe your basement should be dry all the time, no matter how hard it rains. Hi, I'm Roy Spencer, president of Permaseal. I've heard many homeowners say that their basement only leaks when it rains. Well, you don't worry about your living room or bedroom getting wet, so you should feel the same way about your basement. Call 800-421-SEAL. We offer a free estimate, no haggle pricing, and a price assurance guarantee so you can rest assured you're getting the best value. If you want your basement dry all the time, you know who to call, Permaseal. We've helped over 450,000 homeowners across Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana since 1979 and have an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. 800-421-SEAL. That's 800-421-7325 or visit permaseal.net.
We finally made it past winter. Unfortunately, so did your winter weight. Luckily, you still have time to be fit and healthier this spring since it only takes 40 days to lose 20 to 40 plus pounds with the NJ Diet. NJ Diet's Guarantee program starts with bioenergetically personalized supplements based on your hair, saliva, and blood work. Then NJ Diet uses DNA testing to create your ideal diet plan and workout regimen to help you keep it off for the rest of your life. Not sure if you can do it alone? NJ Diet is with you every step of the way. You're fully monitored by their certified staff to make sure you're burning fat, not just losing water. You'll also have access to the doctor's personal email and phone number. NJ Diet is committed to you keeping the weight off, with offices in Skokie and Oak Brook, or available from home with live online video consultations. Call today, 855-5NJ-DIET. That's 855-5NJ-DIET, or log on to njdiet.com. Once again, 855-5NJ-DIET, or go to the website and log on to njdiet.com. Go to njdiet.com and lose the weight for good.
AM 560.
The Answer.
So today, they're blaming the 400-point dollar collapse on the fact that there has been a supply chain disruption among oil. And it gets me thinking. That's why I love to have Gordon Holton on, because the answers are brutally, bald-faced, obvious. Obvious. Do you know why we had such stability under Joe Biden when he was young, when he could comb his hair and remember his address? From 1929 to 1975, gas was under 50 cents a gallon. And we're just going to do gas because it's the easiest thing to have a relationship with, is because we were the producers. Oh, it is so painfully obvious. It wasn't until politicians recognized they finally got what they couldn't do under such titans like Rockefeller and other Texas oil millionaires at the time. Back then, it was rare to be a billionaire. They couldn't bribe them. They needed those companies to go public. They needed bureaucracies and boards to happen. They needed to bribe board members. They needed to create this culture of corruption, this corporatism we think is capitalism now. But up until then, up until that point, we had the best quality of life. It's best for everybody when the common denominator of everything is cheap and abundant and readily available. When you didn't have to worry if supply chain disruptions. What's the supply chain disruption in oil? What do you think it is? Do you think it's Ukraine and Russia? Or do you think it's the inbred Saudis blowing up Yemen? We still don't know why. Or do you think it's the guy in Venezuela with that Tom Selleck wannabe mustache who likes to have their people eat the dogs because he has such a good quality of socialism in Venezuela? It's the policies that brought us here. Every state in this country could provide its citizens everything it needs. You wouldn't have any of this chaos throughout the world. And, however, if that would have been done, there's no way you could have got somebody like Biden in. There's no way to build his new world order.
I think, my mother had an expression, out of everything terrible, something good will come if you look hard enough for it.
Oh, boy.
I think this presents us with some significant opportunities to make some real changes.
We got to cut this cut down.
We are at an inflection point,
There it
I
is.
believe, in the world economy. Not just the world economy, in the world. It occurs every 3 or 4 generations. As one of the top military people said to me in a secure meeting the other day, 60 million people died between 1900 and 1946.
All right, nobody's dying anymore.
Since then, we established a liberal world order, and that hadn't happened in a long while. A lot of people dying, but nowhere near the chaos. And now is a time when things are shifting. There's going to be a new world order out there.
This is their biggest friend. Joe Biden is, for the first time in his life, is significant rather than just a part of the major problem. Now he's the hood ornament of the whole problem. He's going to take advantage of this crisis. So the whole time we know the solutions, we have the solutions in every state in this country. The entire northwest third of the country, oceans and oceans of the lightest, sweetest crude. We have the most efficient way to pull it out, the most ecological, sound way, clean way. We have the cleanest way to pull it out. You take a look at Saudi Arabia. You think that they're paying attention to all of the regulations, or Ukraine, or Russia, or Venezuela? You think they're capping the wells? I don't think they can. I mean, does it look clean? I don't think so. But we have it right here. Yet the problem isn't the supply. It isn't the demand. It's the corruption in the middle.
Today, I want to discuss part of this crisis that is all too often overlooked, but whose evidence shows that there's a very meaningful connection here. The correlation between fossil fuel extraction sites and abductions and murders of indigenous women across the United States.
Well, have the people who get caught go before affirmative action Jackson. They'll be back out on the street. We could pump the oil. See, there's always a solution. You got to bribe the right Democrat. 312-642-5600.
Marxists, socialists, and communists are not welcome on the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
Balance of Nature's fruits and vegetables in a capsule, changing the world one life at a time.
This product is life-changing, and I tell everyone what a blessing Balance of Nature fruits and vegetables is. It's amazing, absolutely phenomenal. I'm telling you right now, this is an amazing thing. 30 days after taking this, everything is perfect. I could not be more happy. What a blessing. So, good job, Balance of Nature. Good job.
Get a wide variety of all your daily recommended servings of whole fruits and vegetables without having to leave your home. Right now, Balance of Nature is offering free shipping and 35% off on any new preferred order. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or by going to balanceofnature.com and make sure to receive this special radio offer by using discount code Chicago.
This is Ed Morrissey of HotAir.com for Town Hall. Late last week, the CDC erased over 72,000 previously identified deaths from COVID-19 rolls, including over 30% of previously designated pediatric deaths. They said these patients died of COVID. Now they're rolling it back. A brief and ambiguous footnote announced the change, but not the scope of the adjustment, nor the actual errors involved. This has finally embarrassed the CDC's top echelons into action. In a new email to staff, CDC Director Rochelle Walensky has suddenly taken an interest in remedying the data gaps for COVID-19. The CDC did nothing to correct the obvious data collection issues when high numbers bolstered Joe Biden's political arguments for mandates and restrictions. It's likely no coincidence that the CDC is now trying to fix those issues and get lower numbers now that voters are fed up with Biden's mandates. The CDC and the Biden administration have earned the deep skepticism of American voters on COVID-19.
Publicpolicy.pepperdine.edu.
Man, oh man, oh man. I love the David Hochberg commercials. because when I do them, I've actually worked with David. I have the utmost respect for him, for his knowledge, for his integrity. So if you're purchasing a new home, refinancing your existing home, securing a VA loan or a reverse mortgage, you need to do what I did, what I tell my friends, family, customers, clients. Call my friend David at Team Hochberg. He's my trusted local lender. Meet Lori, 62, retired, with limited retirement savings, living on in a $300,000 home. Lori struggled to pay her home mortgage and minimum payments on her credit cards, totaling over $40,000. That's a lot. So she called, and it's before they raised the rate. She called Team Hochberg for a free consultation. Team Hochberg loan officer Scott Ellis helped Lori consolidate her debt with a cash-out refi, reduce her payments over $1,100 a month, and most importantly, eliminating a tremendous amount of stress from Lori's life. Let's review. Before calling Team Hochberg, Lori was loaded with both debt and stress. After calling, Lori saved over $13,000 a year, eliminated both her credit card debt and stress. Team Hochberg has helped me, thousands of AM 560 listeners, with limited retirement income, eliminate their debt and financial stress, like Lori. But they can't help you if you don't call, so call 855-56-DAVID or visit 56david.com. That number again is 855-563-2843 or visit 56david.com. Homeside Financial, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS 1124061. If you want to be on the line, clear the lines. Let's start over. 312-642-5600. I'll take all your calls after Nikki Whaley.
Thanks, Shaun. Good afternoon. It's 52 degrees in Chicago. I'm Nikki Whaley in the AM 560 The Answer newsroom. Illegal immigrants should not be allowed to vote in the U.S. That's what Supreme Court nominee Ketanji Brown Jackson said when pressed on the subject by Republican Lindsey Graham during her Senate confirmation hearing. Meanwhile, Senator Mitt Romney criticized questions asked by his fellow GOP members in an interview with the Washington Post without naming any specific member. President Biden says the threat of chemical warfare in Ukraine is high. Speaking with reporters on the White House lawn, Biden said the use of chemical weapons as the Russian invasion goes on is a real threat. The president is on his way to Europe for an emergency NATO summit. Border Patrol agents are being told to allow any Ukrainian migrants at the southern border into the country so they can claim asylum. When a Ukrainian national shows up at the border, agents are told they're exempt from public health rule called Title 42. New numbers show there were nearly 300 Ukrainian encounters at the border in February. A discount store in Chicago's Albany Park neighborhood is destroyed after catching fire. The massive blaze started yesterday inside the JoJo discount store on West Lawrence Avenue. The roof collapsed and the building is considered a total loss. The good news is no injuries were reported. The cause of the fire is still under investigation. News is a service of Salem Surround. Receive a free evaluation to determine the digital presence of your business and learn how Salem Surround can help you surround your target audience. Go to surroundchicago.com today. The next news update comes your way at 6 o'clock. Continuous coverage of the latest news, traffic, and weather at 560theanswer.com. From the MorrisonSecurity.com Traffic Center, here's Jill Urchak.
Here's another check of the roads. No delays. Outbound Edens back in at 43 in from Lake Cook Road to Montrose. The outbound Kennedy, hour and 10, about 50 minutes inbound. Heading outbound on the Eisenhower, that's up to an hour and 5, out to 390, and back in about an hour and 5 as well. Now, if you're out on the Stevenson, that remains solid, hour and 12. There is a crash reported right at Kedzie Avenue, inbound side, 37 minutes. Seeing delays on the inbound side of the Dan Ryan, right at 69th. That crash is on the shoulder, but it is 35 minutes going in because of that. Outbound side just heavy at 31. Express lanes, they are tight from Stevenson out to Marquette. As for the tollways, expect delays along the Tri-State, and now seeing delays on the Jane Addams as well in eastbound Reagan. Crash at Mill on the side. Traffic is a service of the AM 560 store. Order t-shirts, hoodies, and more from your favorite AM 560 brands, including Craft University and the Shaun Thompson Show when you go to 560theanswer.com/store. From the MorrisonSecurity.com Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchak.
Now, your official weather forecast.
Occasional rain and drizzle overnight with a low of 41. Occasional rain and drizzle Thursday with a high of 45. Times of sun and clouds Friday. Breezy in the afternoon will reach a high of 51. Plan with confidence. Download the redesigned AccuWeather app today. I'm Drew Shannon on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com. He's been called the Mystery Man by the Wall Street Journal, but it's no mystery that Mark Vargas loves America and now stands ready to fight to defend your rights amid the culture war that's raging across our nation. Join Mark each Sunday night at 7 for Mark My Words with Mark Vargas, as he brings you exclusive interviews with some of the biggest names from politics, entertainment, and business, right here on AM 560. The Answer. Time now for a check of the lowest gas prices in Chicagoland.
Regular NOLAD is $4.19 a gallon at the Woodman's in Buffalo Grove and $4.21 a gallon at the Shell in New Lenox at Nelson and Maple.
If you see a low gas price, text the word price to 64636, followed by the price and location, and listen each weekday afternoon at 12:30 and 5:30 to hear the lowest gas prices in Chicagoland.
Get your biggest refund guaranteed. Jackson Hewitt Tax Pros will help find thousands worth of new tax credits so you get every dollar you deserve. Learn more at jacksonhewitt.com.
Parents know kids are amazing and expensive, but Fabric helps you protect your family with surprisingly affordable term life insurance. It's quick, easy, all online, and policies start at less than $1 a day, and you can be approved on the spot. Plus, no risk. Cancel anytime. Secure your family's financial future today at meetfabric.com/worry-free. That's meetfabric.com/worry-free. Fabric Insurance Agency policies issued by Vantis Life, not available in New York and Montana. Prices subject to underwriting and health questions.
Tunnel to Towers Foundation broke ground on its Do Good Village in Land O'Lakes, Florida. It's the first of its kind, a community of 110 homes for the foundation's program recipients. So together, families can heal. A special place where families know that their neighbors understand and care. Donate $11 a month to Tunnel to Towers at T2T.org. T2T.org. That's T, the number 2, T.org.
This hour of the Shaun Thompson Show is brought to you exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. Sell or buy, go to Donley.
AM 560. The Answer.
This is my guy. You don't understand when I was a kid how much I loved this guy. I still love him. The best. You know, his father killed him over an electric bill. Did you know that? $2 million in the bank killed him over a $35 electric bill. That's called Dumas. All right, I asked for calls. We got calls. Let's go to calls. And something's wrong with my screen again, kid. What is going on here, man? I can't have this. We got to show them. Look, we've got
Now to take an old
Oh, that's a good one.
man pee. Ow. Ow.
Breaking news from Joe Biden in Europe. Miles, 294.
Hey, Shaun, I Googled the Micro Act. It's a subsidy for Intel manufacturers, for microchip manufacturers. So I guess Intel needs the corporate welfare.
It is so.
Pass the Miles Act. My business could use some money. I might drive a better car.
Miles, don't get involved, man. That's what they want us to do. But it's so
Fine,
systemically.
No,
I know.
Money.
It is so
But
systemically
Intel is
sickening.
looking for subsidies after the feds passed a $6 billion subsidy to do chips. So that's the Manufacturers Association. Those are conservative business owners for corporate welfare for chip manufacturers.
Well, unfortunately, I don't think Gordy is promoting that. He didn't sound like he was promoting that. He didn't mention anything from the government.
Well,
but
the first sentence says it's subsidies for building chips.
Well, the first thing you have to know, it's a Democrat from New York. They don't do anything that doesn't provide a campaign contribution kickback. So, of course, that's what it is, Miles. I understand that. But what I was trying to get out of him, and I don't know, I'm sure you picked up on it. What started the problem? And I know what started the problem. What started the problem was the corruption in an organized labor mafia called unions, working lockstep with Democrat politicians to regulate manufacturing out of the country. That's what started the whole damn thing. So if you're not going to fix that, you're going to have to subsidize it, right? And that's what we're used to.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. But he gave us lip service that the capital for the pipelines and all that stuff. If there was capital to build chips in Illinois, to be built in chips in Illinois, for God's sake. You don't have to subsidize it.
No, and, quite honestly, I don't think that Illinois manufacturers – I have a good friend of mine who I traded with who I love to death. put a ton of money into his warehouse, ton of money, and he's got a big contract. Very, very smart, very wealthy kid, and you know, we were just talking. He's about out the door. If Pritzker wins, he's gone, and he's taken, you know, probably 185 jobs with him, and he's not going to put up with it anymore. So the reality is, you know, a lot hinges on this election for governor. And it's a good, you know, and the way it looks, you're going to get a Democrat either way. If the step and fetch Republicans to Ken Griffin's money have their way, they're just going to want another political whore in there. That's who they're running anyway. Thank you very much, Miles. You know I love the call. Thank you.
Right.
Kevin, Austin, Texas.
Shaun, thanks for taking my call. You're talking about the Chicago GOP, and I noticed on Twitter, I know you don't have a handle, but the Shaun Show does.
Yeah.
And they said they invited him, Steve Bolton, on to the show, but he declined. I think you should have Sean Morrison, who advertises on your show, who is the Cook County chairman of the Republican Party.
You
should call him.
But you know me, right?
And say, hey, go on the show.
You know me. You think I give a rip if anybody advertises on my show that's a political person?
No,
I don't care that they could take their money and get the hell off my show for all I care. I don't care about that.
Well,
if Sean Morrison is a decent guy, and I don't know him, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah, I know. But my point is that I think Steve Bolton should go on the show.
Steve, I'd love to have Steve Bolton in studio, that lipless piece of garbage. I'd love to have him
well,
on.
You know,
No.
As long as if
you want to threaten the guy with Ken Griffin's money, you're a piece of garbage. You understand? Piece of garbage. You're a half man. He's a piece of garbage.
My point is,
and until he's out, Kevin, he's out, Chicago GOP doesn't exist. They don't exist.
I'm agreeing with you. I don't know why you're yelling at me.
I'm yelling at him.
My point is that I think keep calling him out. Say, Steve, come on the show.
No, I want to. I don't. You know what? I don't even want to talk to him. I mean, I will.
Well,
believe me, if he calls, the lines are open. Here's who I want to talk to. I don't want to talk to the half man who's acting like a gangster with Ken Griffin's money. I want to talk to Ken Griffin. Send Ken Griffin an email. I want to know if he knows the political whores who now think they're the pimp because Ken Griffin stroked the check. That's what I would
love to hear. I want to hear what Steve Bolton has to say for himself as far as what you're talking about.
He's a pencil neck, lipless fraud.
How are they manufacturing in Chicago? How are they going to change education?
He's not going to do anything. He wants a pay-to-play scheme. That's how he has his pretend law firm. That's how they let these other scumbags like Pete Silvestri just go be a business agent for Gold Rush Gaming. You make a little side change, little sack of Joey on the side. $2 whore in a $5 world.
I hope Devin calls him and says, "Hey, you should call the show." So anyhow,
you could call him. I want him in studio. I want to look at his beady eyes. I'd prefer in studio, but I'll take whatever I can get. Thank you very much, Kevin. Go join a committeeman. That's why I don't do it, because of scum like that, like run the Chicago GOP. By the way, you good people, don't you give them 5 cents, not 5 cents, because they're relying on your frustration. They're relying on your willful optimism. In a city, in a county, that's been corrupt for 50 years as they kissed the ring. And I cleaned it up. I know what Pete Silvestri kissed. They kissed the ring of little Mike Madigan, the most successful mafia don in world history. Not country, world. And by the way, that Eddie Burke ain't too bad either. He'll never do a day. Oh, why is he not getting, he's not going to go to trial. Why? Because of COVID? What a great gift. What an absolute great gift to these Democrat Marxist mafia roaches.
It just goes to show you. It's always something. If it's not one thing, it's another.
In a Democrat mafia-run hellhole that was once a great city. 312-642-5600.
Call Shaun now. 312-642-5600.
The following is a paid political announcement.
When Richard Irvin decided to take on Pritzker for governor, he wasn't following a whim. He was answering a long familiar call to duty. Irvin joined the Army out of high school, served in Desert Storm, decorated for bravery. Surviving a brush with death in a dangerous war zone, Richard dedicated his life to service because he loves his country and knows how fragile freedom and security are. As a prosecutor, Irvin put thugs behind bars, drug dealers, gangbangers, 1,000 convictions, hired more cops, and cleaned up crime as mayor, balanced budgets, passed property tax relief. When riotous looters came to town, Irvin shut them down. He knows we'll lose the country he fought for if the radical woke mob takes control. Irvin says all lives matter, that schools shouldn't teach kids to be ashamed of their color or country, that we'll take our state back if we have strong, service-minded leadership. And that's Richard Irvin, our next governor, paid for by Irvin for Illinois.
Tell me why Relief Factor is so successful in lowering or eliminating pain. I'm often asked that question. Pete and Seth Talbot, the father-son owners of Relief Factor, tell me they believe our bodies were designed to heal. That's right, designed to heal, and I agree with them. The doctors who formulated Relief Factor for them selected the 4 best ingredients, yes, 100% drug-free ingredients, that each help your body deal with inflammation. Each of the 4 ingredients deals with inflammation from a different metabolic pathway. That's right there, approaching from 4 different angles may very well be why so many people find such wonderful relief. If you have back pain, shoulder, neck, hip, knee, or foot pain from exercise or just getting older, you should order the 3-week Quick Start, discounted to only $19.95 to see if it'll work for you. I think it could. Give your body what it needs to heal itself. Go to ReliefFactor.com or call 800-500-8384.
AM 560.
The Answer. Because I wanna be a cowboy, baby, with a chocolate bag and the sunshine.
I like this guy. I'd like to meet this guy. Be a lot of fun. And did you give me an example with Carney B? And you're sure she's not going to be nominated for the Supreme Court? You sure? All right. I have a little optimism. Merck, Northbrook.
Hey, how you doing today, Shaun?
Good. How are you?
I'm okay. Yesterday they were supposed to have a hearing for the Merck members versus the CME, and it was postponed for another month.
Oh, come on. Now, refresh my memory. This is about the litigation.
It's about
the
litigation involves the B-share members that saw the value of their memberships go from close to $1 million or $500,000, depending on which seat you had. $1.5 million. Well, they just got trashed. IMM seat went all the way down to like 30-40 grand, and a IOM
the trading rights. This is the trading rights.
Correct.
Right. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
The Aurora faction, the Aurora deal.
Yes.
That was going on. It was going forward. That the members were never even informed about it until it was like completed.
I was contacted earlier in the week. A friend of mine who I haven't heard from in years, and him and his brother were great guys. Great guys. And I was contacted by him, and it's just nice. It was just a wonderful place. And I often think back. I have kids now in college. And you realize how many Chicagoans that place employed, how many lives.
Oh, the tens of thousands.
Oh,
yeah.
It's over 100,000. But just how it was an alternative for kids who could figure out things on their own, and how many millions of successful people that were really spawned from that knowledge in that place. It's really amazing. And I have to tell you, I know you've got a case going on, and I know what side you're on, I could tell, but aren't you interested? Wouldn't you like to see Terry Duffy pull the whole damn thing out of here and go somewhere else where he's appreciated and the Chicago Mercantile members are appreciated rather than overtaxed?
Well, I think a lot of guys would like to see changes at the helm of the exchange. As far as the exchange going, they can go. They can go wherever they want.
It's a flick of a switch. Yeah, I got a little bit of an affection for Terry Duffy, and I'll tell you why. I used to run him orders in the feeder cattle, and he had the Zanza belts on. Remember, Terry Duffy was a hell of a guy back then.
Well, he spent more of his time in the hogs.
Yeah,
he was a hog.
He was a hog guy, right? But he was in the feeder for a while. He had I can remember running the orders like yesterday. Thank you. You made me feel good. Thanks for the call. I wish you luck. Let me know how it goes. I appreciate it. Martin, Riverside.
Hello, Shaun. I want to get back on a quick one on you want some legal input on this city intervention on this poor fellow, the landlord that called, and they're putting an option requirement to have options on all his tenants that they shouldn't do. That's a legal argument why the city shouldn't do that.
Let me help, Martin. Let me help capsize it for a little bit, or not capsize, but let me help explain it for a little bit.
Sure.
What you want to talk about is what we've learned last week, or I didn't know, was a Chicago regulation that landlords must give their tenants the first right of refusal should they sell their income property, right?
Correct.
Okay, so go ahead now.
Right. I don't have the Constitution right out in front of me. It's called impairment of contract. It's in the Constitution itself. I don't know what article, but it's okay in the Constitution. That being federal first and fifth of the amendment and 14th applicable. But it's a direct violation, but it's what they call de facto because you have to bring it into federal court. See, that's what they do. See, the con is that you have to have enough money to bring that thing in the federal district court through a class action or having standing to bring the thing through. The fact that it's unconstitutional, in fact, you're still screwed.
But here's the thing, Martin. You have what is real estate is a bundle of...
You're correct. I mean, he's correct. You're totally correct, but it's just... I'm pretty sure it's what they call impairment of contract, which is federal violation of what the city did of the ordinance.
Here's the thing, Martin. I think it should be challenged and go all the way to federal court. I mean, all the way to Supreme Court. The bad news is when it gets there, when it gets to the Supreme Court.
When does equal protection of the laws attach to a human being?
Oh, that one's too complicated. Let's go to another one. Wait.
When does life begin?
Oh, that one's way too complicated. She ain't going to do that.
Can you provide a definition for the word woman?
Oh, this one's easy.
Can I provide a definition?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Yeah.
I can't.
What?
You can't?
Oh, God.
Not in this context.
So
I'm not a biologist.
So if you can't tell that the vajayjay is a woman and the three-piece set is a guy, you think we're going to be real nuanced on contract law of real estate rights? This is great. The USSA. Let's just get it over with. The United Soviet States of America. And that's why I don't play a lot of those clips. It's hard to watch the destruction of Americanism. It's hard to watch the bastardization of property rights over your life. It's been hard over the last 2 years. Who is the government to tell me what I have to put in my body? Who are you to take away my small business, my big business, any business? Who are you to tell me I can't go out of my house and I should put something on my... Who in the hell do you people think you are? See, I know who you are, and I know who you're supposed to be. You're supposed to be representatives, not rulers. And I'm going to fight like hell, put you back in your corner. And I don't care if you're in the GOP or the DNC, a lobbyist. I don't care what particular form of scumbag tyrant you are. I'm here to push back, and I'll do it all day long. I never get tired. I get a little aroused, but never tired. 312-642-5600.
Did you miss the open enrollment this year? I can help you purchase a PPO health insurance plan all year long that eliminates the mandatory maternity coverage. This is Tom Marabali, and if you're 50 years old and are covered by the Affordable Care Act, you're paying for maternity coverage whether you want the coverage or not. The least expensive ACA PPO health insurance plan is $540 per month with a total out-of-pocket cost of $8,550 before your bills are paid at 100%. I can eliminate the mandatory maternity coverage and lower your monthly premium down to $273 per month with a total out-of-pocket cost of $2,500 before your bills are paid at 100%. That's a savings of $6,050 in total out-of-pocket costs per person with my lower deductible, and you save $267 per month with my lower premiums. For a free quote and to see if you qualify, call me, Tom Marabali, at 630-863-3477. That's 630-863-3477.
It's time to make your dreams a reality and do something about your bathroom. Take all those pictures you've been saving off the internet that show the most serene, updated, spa-like bathrooms and make them your own. Matrix Home Solutions will give you a free quote. They'll transform your old bathroom into a space of your dreams using your ideas to give you the bathroom you've always wanted. How about a walk-in shower instead of that old tub? Matrix Home Solutions can make it happen. Set up an appointment online at matrixhomesolutions.com. For the bathroom you've been dreaming of, start now with a free quote from Matrix Home Solutions. Right now, Matrix Home Solutions is offering a free tub or shower installation for a limited time. Plus, AM560 listeners can receive an extra 10% off with code AM560. That just saved you hundreds of dollars. Schedule your free quote today at matrixhomesolutions.com. That's matrixhomesolutions.com.
1 in 3 adults has prediabetes. 1 in 3. That means it could be you, your football buddy, your football buddy, or you, your best man, your worst man, you, your dog walker, your cat jogger. While 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes, with early diagnosis, prediabetes can be reversed. Take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org. That's doihaveprediabetes.org.
Wait, did they just say 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes? That's 33.33333% of adults. That means it could be me, my boss, or my boss's boss, or me, my favorite sister, or my other sister. That's 7 members of my 21-person romantic book club. Wait, the 1 in 3 could be me, my karaoke partner Carol, or my karaoke enemy Jeff. I'm gonna take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
It's news, opinion, insight. It's AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago.
Jeff Murdoch, White House reporter for the Washington Times. Listen, you realize how high the stakes are, what's happening on the world stage. You also realize how low the expectations are, right? I mean, the whole world now knows we hired a dementia patient to be the president. And by we, I only mean the Democrat scum, corporatist whores among us, not us. We'll be back to discuss that and more. It will be after Fox News. And we got to see. Is Jeff picking up? That's all right. We'll either do it with Jeff or with me and you. But it'll be after Fox News.
Ukraine. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. That's the focus of an emergency NATO summit in Brussels set to begin tomorrow. President Biden is already there ahead of the meeting as the alliance reports Russia has suffered heavy losses during the 28 days of fighting.
NATO officials now reportedly say 40,000 Russian soldiers have been killed, injured, captured, or are missing. 1/5 of the whole Russian combat force.
Fox's Greg Palcott in Lviv. Secretary of State Antony Blinken has made a formal declaration that Russian troops have committed war crimes in Ukraine and that information will be passed on to allies and partners. As she answers questions before the Senate Judiciary Committee for a second day, the latest Fox News poll shows support for President Biden's pick for the Supreme Court.
Right now, 56% of Americans would confirm Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson to the Supreme Court. That percentage is higher than the 4 most recently named justices, Barrett, Kavanaugh, Gorsuch, and Sotomayor.
Fox's Gernal Scott. As COVID cases in Europe and in some parts of Asia are on the rise, largely due to a new subvariant, CDC Director Rochelle Walensky says it's being tracked.
The variant has been in the United States for about the past 2 months, and it has been slowly increasing in proportion compared to BA1. This week, we estimate that BA2 represents about 35% of circulating variants nationally.
And Dr. Walensky says despite the transmissibility of this subvariant, COVID cases and deaths continue to go down. Idaho has become the first state to enact a law modeled after a Texas law banning abortions after about 6 weeks of pregnancy by allowing lawsuits to avoid constitutional court challenges. Opponents call the law unconstitutional and say most women don't know they're pregnant at 6 weeks. America is listening to Fox News.
How can you get from here to there? We've got the answer from the AM 560 Traffic Center.
Here's another check of the road. 17 minutes outbound Eden, solid inbound at 46 in from Lake Cook Road. On the outbound Kennedy, a little over an hour heading out to the airport. It's about an hour back in. If you're heading out on the Eisenhower, that's an hour as well, out to 390. Same on the inbound trip. Stevenson, that's holding at 55 minutes out to the Tri-State, hour and 5 to 355. Inbound side, a 35-minute ride. The outbound Dan Ryan, 25 minutes. Inbound jammed at 35. Traffic especially tight at 69th from an earlier crash. Delays in the express lanes as well from the Stevenson out to Marquette. As for the tollways, delays remain along the tri-state in both directions. Eastbound Reagan slowing down Yakely to Findlay. Other tollways, not too bad, scattered delays. Traffic is a service of the AM 560 mobile app. Listen to AM 560 on your smartphone or mobile device when you download the AM 560 mobile app at 560theanswer.com/mobile or text the word app to 64636. From the MorrisonSecurity.com Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchak.
Now, your official weather forecast.
Overnight, we'll see occasional rain and drizzle, the low 41. Thursday, occasional rain and drizzle, the high 45. Friday, times of sun and clouds, breezy in the afternoon with a high of 51. Plan with confidence. Download the redesigned AccuWeather app today. I'm Drew Shannon on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com. Mike Gallagher explains why we need Trump.
Trump has a record, a 4-year record of accomplishments that we could stack up against any Democrat in the last 50 years in this country. Greatest president of my lifetime and yours. And the left knows it. They know this Ukraine monstrosity wouldn't be happening with Trump at the helm.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Balance of Nature's fruits and vegetables in a capsule. Changing the world, one life at a time.
A year ago, I literally thought I was dying. I mean, I'd get up in the morning and I was exhausted when I got up. I started taking this in August, I believe it was. And the energy level, I mean, literally, the energy level. It's one of those things where I noticed that I'm getting more energy, and I'm 67 years old. But compared to what I was a year ago, I'm doing a lot better.
Get a wide variety of all your daily recommended servings of whole fruits and vegetables without having to leave your home. Right now, Balance of Nature is offering free shipping and 35% off on any new preferred order. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or by going to balanceofnature.com and make sure to receive this special radio offer by using discount code CHICAGO.
This week on RVER, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
That new doctor is drop dead gorgeous.
Please, he's just another RV League educated surgeon with good hair.
No, he's different.
Nurses, we got a Class C motorhome with a detached driver's side mirror. Meet me in the OR. Stat.
Right away, doctor.
No, she's on break. I'll handle this one.
Oh, you conniving little...
When your RV really needs saving, Progressive has you covered. See if you could save with a leader in RV insurance. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, covered subject to policy terms.
On 9/11, America and the world made a commitment to never forget. Since then, it's been the Tunnel to Towers Foundation helping us to honor our words with action. So many people gave their lives while saving others on 9/11. Tunnel to Towers carries forward that legacy of courage and heroism by honoring our country's military and first responder heroes, people who are willing to die for you and me. Donate $11 a month to Tunnel to Towers at T2T.org. That's T2T.org.
This hour of the Shaun Thompson Show is brought to you exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. Sell or buy, go to Donley.
From the streets of Melrose Park to the trading floor of the Merc, he's fought for every dollar he's ever earned. And now, with personal liberty and our system of capitalism under assault in America, he's here to seize back our rights from the government. With a cigar in one hand and a copy of the Declaration of Independence in the other, he's Shaun Thompson. And this is the Shaun Thompson Show.
This looks like a job for me, so everybody just follow me, 'cause we need a little...
I remember Joe Biden way back to the late 70s. I do. I remember him. Back then, he was just embarrassing because it was so obvious. He was a political hitman for the labor extortion mafia unions. Worst part of our policies where he was corrupted and bribed. That was when he had his faculties. Now that he's meandering around the White House calling for his nurse, doesn't realize it's his wife, can't figure out why his socks are wet, and doesn't know when rice pudding is served. It's really humiliating. I wanted to bring on Jeff Murdoch, who realizes it's high stakes. But man, oh man, it's also low expectations. He's a White House reporter, for the Washington Times. He's been with me since the beginning. Jeff, thank you so much for joining me. How are you?
I'm doing great, Shaun. Thanks for having me.
All right, what do you think? You saw the Secret Service leave with the diaper bag. You see him bouncing around. This is going to be bad. It's like a weekend at Bernie's 3, huh?
Well, I think what we got to do is manage our expectations for this. I think if we don't expect anything out of this, and honestly, why would we? I think we'll be okay. And I think that's what the administration is counting on, that we do have low expectations coming out of this, because honestly, nothing's going to be achieved. There's going to be a lot of talk, but the concrete action that we need is just not going to get done.
Are you sure? Because I smell more money for an organization that has been on and off and under investigation for at least 30 years in NATO. I mean, does everybody, Jeff, I mean, I know you're a news junkie. You remember when the head of NATO was involved in a banking scandal and tried in Italy. And the same judge that let him walk was the same judge that let the Sicilian mob boss walk 7 months later. I mean, you realize that I think he just gave the New World Order speech. I think this is going to be one of those moves where it'll go under the feeble fascist, and before you know it, NATO will be getting a tremendous amount of money. They'll be doing all of the things that Putin accused them of doing in the first place, and we're going to be in the leading from behind position that the Democrats love.
Well, I would argue that you say we will be in the leading. I would argue that we're already in the leading behind position.
Fair enough.
Just look at how unprepared we were. I mean, look how late it took the U.S. to impose sanctions on Russia.
It's those sanctions I want to ask you about.
Mm-hmm.
I remember, I'm old and I have a really good memory, and I remember when those same people were sanctioning, I mean literally the same ones, were involved in the Uranium One deal. And they were hiring Bill Clinton to go on the phony speeches at $500,000 a crack. The same oligarchs who were lured to New York, lured to Florida, lured to California to buy the multi-million-dollar residences, and the boats are all stored with foreign flags in Miami. Is it right we just seize their stuff? And what about American oligarchs? Are we going to grab theirs, or where do we draw the line?
Well, that's an excellent point. Right now, this is just good theater. It's easy politics. Everybody's mad at Russia. Let's go target their wealthiest people. But most of these people are over here. Most of these people are not really that involved in Russian politics as much as this administration would make us seem. And and there's so many carve-outs. There's so many ways to evade these sanctions. If you are an oligarch with a boat in Miami, that you do wonder what this is really going to accomplish. I mean, the administration seems to tout that they're going to take effect into a month, which, if I'm living in the Ukraine, is not something I really want to hear.
The other thing I have a problem with this, I'm a contrarian by nature. I always have been, since I was in diapers. But the reality is, too, I pay attention. I don't like that Zelensky, a year before all of this, canceled the 3 television stations because they criticized him. I don't like that he's taken this opportunity to neuter the 11 opposition parties, the same parties that were fighting against Ihor Kolomoisky, who is his biggest money supplier. I don't like that he's worth $600 million. Should I just shut up and be quiet while we give this guy $26 billion and nobody's going to know where it went?
Well, right now, I would argue the concerns about Zelensky are real. There's definitely some concerns. He's definitely got ties to people that would raise some questions. That being said, he is trying to fend off a significant Russian invasion and doing a good job. We do have to keep Russia out of Ukraine, and that's the bottom line. And we do have to show him, and I'm talking about the U.S., show him the support with the military, with the money to do what they can to keep Russia out of there.
So I find this. I'm sticking up for you, brother. Believe me, I don't mean to put you on the grill, Jeff. I'm sticking up for you because you went to George Washington University. I don't want it to be called Kolominsky University by the time it's over, because I can't stand the comparisons, quite honestly, and that's how I know I'm being lied to. And I hate the whole thing. So I really pay attention. Is there any concern among the D.C. press corps that this is the very country that was riddled in scandal with the first son who has become a connoisseur of crack cocaine?
No, and it's somewhat surprising because it's a question that I have asked, has Biden withhold stuff? Is this a country he can afford to anger given, his son's business dealings and what they may or may not have on him? And I think that's something that I wonder how much that plays into the White House calculus when they decide what to give Ukraine. It's certainly interesting.
And the other thing that's a problem is I feel like we're being outflanked. I'm an old card player, and you could always tell, when you can't figure out who the pigeon at the table is, it's you. And when you see China meet with Russia and Iran, the Iran deal, then Saudi, and the gangster that took over Saudi Arabia, and how he stiff-armed Joe Biden in his meeting and loves to high-five Vladimir Putin and has an affection for Xi Jinping, and there's talk about getting rid of the petrodollar. Is the D.C. press corps aware of this, or are they just all lollipops and unicorns?
Well, I think they're leading the charge. I mean, the war is good for their ratings. The war is good for their leadership. So they're not asking, or I'm sorry, their readership. My mistake.
No, but think about it. I'm just laughing at the way, because you're right. Look at how ridiculous the year 2021. The war is great for ratings. Well, go ahead. I just wanted to point that out.
It is, but, it's funny, and you're right. It's comical, but it is true. And that's why we've seen such a drumbeat for war. That's why we've seen in the media. I mean, the media's been building this thing up since the fall of last year. And look at the ratings. Look at how much the ratings have improved. Look at how much readership has improved. So there's not a lot of questioning of this because they know this is good for business.
So on CNN, as I'm talking to you right now, and it says, NATO claims 15,000 Russian troops are dead. And, hey, I think they're two oligarch countries, whatever. Go ahead. But there's also a rumor that there are American, British, Australian, Canadian soldiers that are killed. Why are we not hearing about any of this? It also seems to be where they're redacting some information, and it reminds me of Vietnam in the early stages when Reuters back then, or the Associated Press, would redact the amount of people killed so the Americans wouldn't get aggravated. Doesn't it seem like it's happening again?
Well, there's definitely an information blackout. We've been seeing very little of what is actually happening out on the ground. If you look at all of the reports, go through CNN's daily update, and Fox News for that matter as well. And it's a lot of the political, what they do for their minute-by-minute updates, it's a lot of the political aspects of this. So-and-so was at NATO and said this. Zelensky met with the French Parliament and said that. There's very little about, or you hear about, Russia shelled from the sea. They shelled Mariupol from the sea. But there's very little what you hear about from the day-to-day, on-the-ground combat.
It's outrageous.
There's not a lot about, there's general broad strokes. Ukraine's trying to take this territory back, or Russia has seized this city. But you don't get a lot about what's happening on the ground. If you look at Twitter, you've seen some reports about Ukrainian army doing some things that may or may not be above board.
Yes, you mean the Azovs and with the SS lightning bolts from the Third Reich on their arm? Yeah, they're doing some bad stuff. I hate the way this is being propagandized.
But but have you seen that covered by any mainstream media? You can't even get people to verify what's being posted on Twitter.
This has to kill you.
That's why I'm about it, because none of this stuff has been verified.
Your whole life is built on freedom of the press. For a guy like you, somebody who's not part of the corporate corrupt media, this has to just be, you have to go home and headbutt the wall. I mean, it's driving me nuts. It must drive you crazy.
Well, if you want an example, what I think is a better example of where there's been a media blackout than Ukraine, one of the things that has frustrated me, and I have tried to get more information on this, look at the missile strike by Iran on our just north of our consulate in Iraq. Has anybody talked about that? I've heard maybe one question about that at the press briefing. The administration waited at least 24 hours to put a statement out about it. Have you heard anything on the news about that in the last 10 days?
Nothing. And I don't expect it. I have Jake Sullivan, who is a former CIA apparatchik. This is legit. This is now the president's spokesman. He is a former CIA agent. I mean, brother, I know I'm supposed to believe that the CIA is on my team, but boy, oh boy, they seem to be very involved with these wars, covering up the information, putting a spin on it. I don't like the whole thing in Yemen. We're not getting any answers. We never have. It's been going on for 10 years. I hate being the bad guy. I want to be the good guy. I used to watch the movies with the Lone Ranger and the white hat. I thought that was us. I thought we were the John Wayne. I don't want to be part of the problem, but we are, aren't we?
But the CIA, I mean, they've been covering this up for decades. This is nothing new. I mean, this has been going on since the CIA has existed. That, we're not getting the information about these things as much as we should.
For 100,
I mean, that's almost the CIA's whole mission.
Since World War II, there's been a thing with Belarus and the Ukrainians. People are ignorant to this. I don't know why. I think it's an amazingly big part of history. The Nazi stronghold in the Soviet Union was Ukraine. Ukraine went in back then. It was Stephen Bandera. He goes into Belarus. He kills 2 million people. So there's been animosity ever since then. Belarus has been victimized by both the Soviet Union and the Nazis in Ukraine and the rest of it. Now there's accusations that the weapons we're giving them, supposedly to fight off the Russians, are being fired into Belarus. Is there even a murmur in Washington, D.C. about this, as these allegations are all being given by the Belarus, not Putin, but the head of Belarus?
No, because they're dismissing Belarus. It's the last, I mean, how many times have you heard this week when talking about that country, news anchors snickering and saying, oh, that's the last European country run by a dictator, which honestly isn't true. But second of all, I mean, how many times have you heard that and then dismiss anything that comes out of that country?
It's just nauseating, brother. That's why I love the fact you're there. Jeff Murdoch, what would I do without you in the Washington Times, kid? You keep it up. You stay safe. People of honor and integrity in Washington, D.C., you don't go for a ride with anybody, not even your Uber driver. You call me, I'll arrange it, okay?
Thanks, Shaun. As always, I love coming on here. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jeff Murdoch. I appreciate it. We'll be back with your calls and comments after this.
This is the Shaun Thompson Show, where Democrats are always wrong, Republicans are seldom right, and politicians are never, ever to be trusted. On AM 560, The Answer.
The following is a paid political announcement.
When Richard Irvin decided to take on Pritzker for governor, he wasn't following a whim. He was answering a long, familiar call to duty. Irvin joined the Army out of high school, served in Desert Storm, decorated for bravery. Surviving a brush with death in a dangerous war zone, Richard dedicated his life to service because he loves his country and knows how fragile freedom and security are. As a prosecutor, Irvin put thugs behind bars, drug dealers, gangbangers, 1,000 convictions, hired more cops, and cleaned up crime as mayor, balanced budgets, passed property tax relief. When riotous looters came to town, Irvin shut them down. He knows we'll lose the country he fought for if the radical woke mob takes control. Irvin says all lives matter, that schools shouldn't teach kids to be ashamed of their color or country, that we'll take our state back if we have strong, service-minded leadership. And that's Richard Irvin, our next governor, paid for by Irvin for Illinois.
One of the things we have learned in the past year, technology is a must. You must have good data and cell service inside your building. Do you have bad service? Let's fix that. This is Kelly Piles. My company is PC Net Services. We fix that bad data and cellular connection inside your building and stop the complaints. It's not as complicated as you might think, but it does make a difference. We work with all major cellular carriers and data communications companies across the nation. We can improve your cellular and data signal in your building with every carrier. No more dropped calls, no more complaints. First responders, firefighters, and government agencies have used us to create a better cellular signal inside their building. We could do the same for you. A veteran-owned company, PC Net Services, connecting you to the world.
Get better cell service in your building, no matter which carrier. For a free analysis, call PC Net Services, 815-545-4439. 815-545-4439.
I'm about to compare a pepper shaker to a cash-out refinance. Hang with me. You know when you're at a restaurant and they ask, would you like some fresh ground pepper? And then they crank that giant tube, but almost nothing comes out? For me, only a certain amount of time is socially acceptable to wait. I know that getting that pepper out might make my life better, but it just seems too impossible. And that's what we hear people say about the cash-out refinance. People realize that the value of their home has gone up like hot pepper the last few years, leaving all this extra money sitting inside their home. But is it too hard to get out? It's Ryan from United Faith Mortgage. And we are a family mortgage team committed to AM 560. If you're interested in cashing out the extra pepper in your home, we're good at doing all the work while you just sit back and relax. And often, your mortgage payment and years in the loan will stay the same. If you'd like to hear about your options, go to UnitedFaithMortgage.com.
We are United Faith Mortgage.
United Mortgage Corp, Melville, New York. NMLS number 1330. Ryan Vrecka, NMLS number 65233. For all licensing information, go to NMLSConsumerAccess.org.
AM 560.
The answer. Is this Cardi B? Yeah? You tell me she wouldn't have made a great Supreme Court justice. There it is. Oh, yeah, that's not good. All right. We got to say, I think we might have got better. I think Cardi B would have been better on sexual predators than this particular Marxist mafia. What are they calling her? They're calling her what is it? KBJ? That's what they're calling her? Wouldn't that fit Kamala Harris more? Oh, I get it. Brown Jackson. Never mind. I just want to be clear on things. You know, I like to be very specific. So a lot of people are going to play you a lot of these affirmative action Jackson, also known as KBJ. They're going to play you a lot of these. I can't even say. They're going to play you a lot of this stuff. And I find it to be aggravating. Do you find this to be aggravating? It's aggravating to me. You know why? I always thought that the law of this country was my shield, not the weapon of the fascists, of the Fourth Reich, of the Marxists. I never even thought it was possible, and I truly mean this. I never thought it was possible for somebody like this to be on the Supreme Court bench. I never thought it was possible. And I don't mean that because she isn't qualified in the definition of Democrat judicial mafia qualification. She is. I mean, if you're in the selected preferred class, you could do pretty much anything. Chicago, Illinois represents that, right? I mean, you could be a gun-carrying scumbag. You could rob somebody, shoot somebody. If you fit the category, you'd be out on the street in hours. Hours. New York, it's almost even easier. New Jersey and the rest of it. California, for example. That's what this woman represents. But to think that this is a Supreme Court justice, no. In fact, I think that's a very small few right now. It's sad when you look at the lineup. Answering, like Sotomayor, Elena Kagan, what Chris Farley would look like if he lived. All the rest of it. I remember when judges of the Supreme Court had supreme character, supreme knowledge, and a grasp of engaging and answering virtually anything. So when we talk about Supreme Court justices on this show, I don't even want to give this idiot airtime. Kind of like a GOP leader in Chicago. I'd rather give an example of what it's supposed to be.
I asked them, what do you think is the reason that America is such a free country? What is it in our Constitution that makes us what we are? And I guarantee you that the response I will get, and you will get this from almost any American, including the woman that he was talking to at the supermarket.
Ironically, he's talking about Breyer.
Freedom of speech, freedom of the press, no unreasonable searches and seizures, no quartering of troops in home, those marvelous provisions of the Bill of Rights. But then I tell them, if you think that a Bill of Rights is what sets us apart, you're crazy. Every banana republic in the world has a Bill of Rights. Every president for life has a Bill of Rights. The Bill of Rights of the former evil empire, the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics, was much better than ours. I mean it literally. It was much better. We guarantee freedom of speech and of the press. Big deal. They guaranteed freedom of the speech, of the press, of street demonstrations and protests, and anyone who is caught trying to suppress criticism of the government will be called to account. Whoa, that is wonderful stuff. Of course. Just words on paper. What our framers would have called a parchment guarantee. And the reason is that the real constitution of the Soviet Union, you think of the word constitution, it doesn't mean a bill, it means structure. Say a person has a sound constitution, has a sound structure. The real constitution of the Soviet Union, which is what our framers debated that whole summer in Philadelphia in 1787. They didn't talk about the Bill of Rights. That was an afterthought, wasn't it? That constitution of the Soviet Union did not prevent the centralization of power.
Bingo.
In one person or in one party. And when that happens, the game is over. The Bill of Rights is just what our framers would call a parchment guarantee. So the real key to the distinctiveness of America is the structure of our government. One part of it, of course, is the independence of the judiciary. But there's a lot more. There are very few countries in the world, for example, that have a bicameral legislature. Oh, England has a House of Lords for the time being, but the House of Lords has no substantial power. They can just make the Commons pass a bill a second time. France has a Senate, it's honorific. Italy has a Senate, it's honorific. Very few countries have two separate bodies in the legislature equally powerful. That's a lot of trouble, as you gentlemen doubtless know, to get the same language through two different bodies elected in a different fashion. Very few countries in the world have a separately elected chief executive. Sometimes I go to Europe to talk about separation of powers. And when I get there, I find that all I'm talking about is independence of the judiciary. Because the Europeans don't even try to divide the two political powers, the two political branches, the legislature and the chief executive. In all of the parliamentary countries, the chief executive is the creature of the legislature. There's never any disagreement.
So see, what I wanted to point out is they've bastardized our system. Because how could you possibly go from an intellect like this? And I mean, how could you possibly go from this to this?
Can you provide a definition for the word woman?
Can I provide a definition?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Yeah.
I can't.
You can't?
Not in this context.
So
I'm not a biologist.
This is how you overthrow freedom. This is how you destroy those principles of Americanism. She doesn't have the intellect. She's not aware. She's not going to stand for American principle, the law of the enlightenment of the individual, of the principle of America. She's a rubber stamp for the collective fascist Democrat mafia. And she'll get in, even though I think we should have Cardi B. I mean, if we're going to get fascism, let's get a show with it. 312-642-5600.
He's Shaun Thompson.
Hello, Mr. Thompson.
And this is the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
You want your basement to be dry most of the time? If so, Permaseal is not the company for you. At Permaseal, we believe your basement should be dry all the time, no matter how hard it rains. Hi, I'm Roy Spencer, president of Permaseal. I've heard many homeowners say that their basement only leaks when it rains. Well, you don't worry about your living room or bedroom getting wet, so you should feel the same way about your basement. Call 800-421-SEAL. We offer a free estimate, no haggle pricing, and a price assurance guarantee so you can rest assured you're getting the best value. If you want your basement dry all the time, you know who to call, Permaseal. We've helped over 450,000 homeowners across Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana since 1979 and have an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. 800-421-SEAL. That's 800-421-7325 or visit permaseal.net.
Your best for being better, Permaseal.
Are you over 65 or turning 65? Whether you're new to Medicare or already have a plan, important changes in Medicare take place every year that most Americans miss. Get your Medicare maximized with Chapter, a free service that makes sure you have the right plan now and continued concierge service whenever you need a change. At Chapter, we instantly compare thousands of plans from the most trusted insurers to find our members the best and most affordable plans for them, the right Medicare coverage for you, including plans to cover gaps in Medicare Part A and Part B, important benefits like vision, dental, and prescription coverage that could save you thousands of dollars each year. Maximize your Medicare with Chapter, rated A+ by the Better Business Bureau. The service is free, so call and speak with an advisor. Let us help your next chapter be the best one yet. Call 800-586-9222, 800-586-9222. 800-586-9222.
Dan Proft here again from Northridge Prep. You've heard me talk about Northridge before, but what exactly makes this school so special? In short, it's the all-boys environment. Boys can just be boys. but surrounded with mentors and teachers who build them up into men of intellect and character who love God. They've been doing it for nearly 50 years, and one of the things that stands out to me is their commitment to partnering with parents. Now, you hear this with a lot of schools, but at Northridge, the parents can't stop talking about it. They've built a community that really works together. Raising kids is hard in this crazy world, and at Northridge, you can be confident your son is on the right path. They're having an open house on Sunday, April 3rd. If you've got a son going into middle school or high school, you've got to check it out.
Come experience the difference for yourself. Don't miss the Northridge Prep Spring Open House, Sunday, April 3rd, for families with sons entering 6th to 10th grade. Discover the campus, meet the faculty, and learn about the programs. Register now at northridgeprep.org. Again, that's northridgeprep.org.
I have to tell you, I love the principles of Americanism. We're going to finish that Nino Scalia clip when I get back. Part of the reason that I love it is that this is the only country you have the kind of rights that property owners have. And I don't just mean real estate. I mean business owners, capitalists, people who could come from nothing, create something, and then become a threat to the government. So much so the government must use its corruption to harm your property, your business. That's what happened to Mike Lindell. That's who I'm describing. Somebody who's a threat to the corrupt Democrat mafia, so much so that they had to use their political clout and power to have his product, which was built up because it delivered satisfaction to millions of consumers. I mean, after all, he remade a pillow and built a company that had 111 items and was everywhere. Then he noticed and wanted to support Donald Trump. And from that, they used that political corruption to not only take the products off the shelves, they've used their banking corruption to have banks stop doing business with them. That's why I'm proud to do business with them. Not only that, it's phenomenal products. From the pillow to the Giza Dream Sheets to the My Pillow robe, the My Pillow slippers, My Pillow towel set. And what I also like is if you tell him you believe in those American principles by typing in promo code Liberty, he sells you 2 hand towels, 2 bath towels, 2 washcloths. That if you were to buy it in a big box store, $110, you get it for $39.99. But you have to let him know you're not a Democrat roach from Chicago, because he's going to see where you're calling from or where you're logging on from. Let him know you're not a Chicago Democrat roach. Type in promo code Liberty. He gives you the products for $39.99. You get a discount on all others. All other products come with a 60-day money-back guarantee. The Giza Dream Sheets, 10-year warranty. Risky. See some of these Democrat females? Put a hurting on those sheets. He still will honor the 10-year warranty. I think that's something. Call 1-800-489-0201. Use promo code Liberty. Go to mypillow.com. Once again, make sure to use promo code Liberty. When I get back, I'll take the rest of your calls. We're going to finish Nino Scalia. And I'm going to try not to play affirmative action Jackson, but I can't make any promises on her. She's so stupid, I almost have to admire it. It'll be after Nikki Whaley.
Thanks, Shaun. Good afternoon. It's 52 degrees in Chicago. I'm Nikki Whaley in the AM 560 The Answer newsroom. Former Secretary of State Madeleine Albright has died at the age of 84 from cancer. Supreme Court Justice nominee Ketanji Brown Jackson says all accused criminals deserve due process under the U.S. system of justice.
Public defenders don't choose their clients, and yet they have to provide vigorous advocacy.
The federal judge made the comment in response to ongoing questions about her past representation of terrorists that are being held at Guantanamo Bay. She was working as a federal public defender at that time. Chicago leaders are narrowing the list of bidders to develop and operate a casino in the city. Mayor Lightfoot announced that 3 bidders have advanced to the next stage. The finalists include a Bally's casino slated for the River West site, where a Chicago Tribune printing plant is now located, a Hard Rock casino at the proposed One Central project site near Soldiers Field, and the so-called River 78 site in the South Loop. The proposed casino is expected to generate thousands of jobs and $400 billion a year in gaming and other revenues for the city and the state. News is a service of the Salem Podcast Network. Hear the latest podcast episodes from Charlie Kirk, Dinesh D'Souza, Todd Starnes, Trish Regan, and many more when you subscribe for free at salempodcastnetwork.com. The next news update comes your way at 7 o'clock. From the MorrisonSecurity.com Traffic Center, here's Jill Urchak.
Here's another check of the roads. Outbound Eden's not bad. 17 minutes inbound, a 30-minute ride. On the outbound Kennedy and the inbound, about 48 minutes either way between O'Hare and downtown. Outbound Eisenhower, 45 to 390, 45 inbound as well. I-55 northbound, right at Route 53. There is a crash on the left lane. That starts backing up from Veterans Parkway. The outbound Stevenson, 45 out to 355, only 27 in. Out to 95th on the Rhine from downtown, 22 minutes inbound, 30, with a stall right at Canal Port in the right lane. Express lanes, they remain jammed from 35th all the way out to Marquette. As for the tollways, a crash eastbound Jane Addams right at Newburgh Street. That is taking out the right lane. Big delays into that scene. Tri-State still busy. Traffic is a service of the Daybreak Insider podcast. Hear the latest reporting and analysis of the day's most important stories each weekday morning on the Daybreak Insider podcast. Subscribe for free today at daybreakinsider.com. From the MorrisonSecurity.com Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchak.
Now, your official weather forecast.
Occasional rain and drizzle overnight with a low of 41. Occasional rain and drizzle Thursday with a high of 45. Times of sun and clouds Friday, breezy in the afternoon, will reach a high of 51. Plan with confidence. Download the redesigned AccuWeather app today. I'm Drew Shannon on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com. Dennis Prager believes there is a price to pay.
A lot of good folks in America feel America's not the world's policeman. I believe America is the world's policeman. I'm sorry to break it to my fellow Americans. There is a burden in being the strongest, wealthiest country on earth. It comes with a price. It comes with responsibility.
The Dennis Prager Show. Weekdays at 11, right before Charlie Kirk at 1 on AM 560. The Answer.
It's time to make your dreams a reality and do something about your bathroom. Take all those pictures you've been saving off the internet that show the most serene, updated, spa-like bathrooms and make them your own. Matrix Home Solutions will give you a free quote. They'll transform your old bathroom into the space of your dreams using your ideas to give you the bathroom you've always wanted. How about a walk-in shower instead of that old tub? Matrix Home Solutions can make it happen. Set up an appointment online at matrixhomesolutions.com. For the bathroom you've been dreaming of, start now with a free quote from Matrix Home Solutions. Right now, Matrix Home Solutions is offering a free tub or shower installation for a limited time. Plus, AM 560 listeners can receive an extra 10% off with code AM 560. That just saved you hundreds of dollars. Schedule your free quote today at matrixhomesolutions.com. That's matrixhomesolutions.com.
Folks, when shopping for a home mortgage, how much is great service, low closing costs, and competitive interest rates worth to you? At Townstone Financial, it's priceless. Hi, Barry Sterner, founder of Townstone Financial. Let's hear about the Townstone experience from one of our customers.
My name is Melissa, and I bought my first home with Townstone Financial. The owners of the house I bought wanted to close in a very short amount of time. I believe it was 3 weeks. And I was fortunate to have Barry at Townstone did everything for me. And Barry at Townstone explained everything to me, did everything, and then would show me the papers, and I signed them. And that was that. It was the easiest part about closing on the house for me.
Remember, nobody values your home mortgage business more than Townstone. I guarantee it, and I own the company. So call me now, Barry Sterner, at 312-896-2110. That's 312-896-2110. Or go to townstone.com. That's TOWNSTONE.com.
Townstone Financial is licensed in Indiana, Michigan, Wisconsin, Florida. NMLS 136639. www.nmlsconsumeraccess.org. Equal housing lender.
This hour of the Shaun Thompson Show is brought to you exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. Sell or buy, go to Donley.
AM 560. The Answer.
Love the Lone Ranger, man. Are you not? This is my guy. Baby blue jumpsuit. Hit Tonto clearing the path. You know, that's the kind of, that's what I like. I don't want to eat with anybody. I do my own thing. You just go up ahead and clear the path. There we go. Good old days. Teresa, Gold Coast.
Hi, Shaun.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you? Welcome back to the sewer.
Did you notice that the Lone Ranger had the baby blue jumpsuit? There was no zipper. Did you notice that?
I did notice that. I don't understand how that
That's
I know.
a complicated procedure, to go to the bathroom.
It is.
You look like Pete Silvestri in a forest preserve. Go ahead. What else you got?
Yeah, but he was a lone ranger, so he could do anything.
That's true.
Okay, so
Go ahead.
I was going to say that this country is in real trouble when you have to ask a nominee of the Supreme Court justice, or Supreme Court rather, to define the definition of a woman. I mean, oh my!
That's when you think about how much fun that is if you would have asked Cardi B that.
I said certified free.
This is fun. We could have had fun with this kind of tyranny and corruption. I think we should have. These idiots have no sense of humor. Thank you, Teresa. Love the call. Can you describe a woman? Yes, it's missing a three-piece set. Start there. You know what that is, don't you, kid? I hope you do. Oh, boy. Ta-da! Fred, Orland Park.
Hey, what do you think, Lori Lightfoot or Kim Fox as possible Supreme Court nominees?
I think we do better.
Intellectual power.
I think we do better because we know,
man. Oh, yeah.
we know that Lori Lightfoot could describe a woman, and all kinds of ways. So thank you very much. Fred, you got to look at the upside. You got to look at the upside. Now there's somebody that could describe a woman. Granted, who she's married to confuses me a little bit, but I used to watch the Munsters. Did you ever see the Munsters? Lurch, get the door? No, you never saw it? All right, you don't know. All right, go take a look at Lurch. Google Lurch, and then look at Lori Lightfoot's wife.
Quote, my between them and the prime minister, as there is sometimes between you and the president. When there's a disagreement, they just kick him out. They have a no confidence vote, a new election, and they get a prime minister who agrees with the legislature. And, the Europeans look at this system and they say, well, it passes one house, it doesn't pass the other house. Sometimes the other house is in the control of a different party. It passes both, and then this president who has a veto power vetoes it, and they look at this and they say, it is gridlock. And I hear Americans saying this nowadays, and there's a lot of it going around. They talk about a dysfunctional government because there's disagreement, and the framers would have said yes. That's exactly the way we set it up. We wanted this to be power contradicting power.
Do we have that now? Power contradicting power? Have we had that since they were able to usurp the most powerful office in the world, country? We have. Where's the gridlock? Where's the pushback against the fascism? I mean, I know the Republicans come out, they make a good speech. Of course, how many of them are like the Illinois GOP? They just want some rich guy to stroke a check so they could scam 6% off it. That's what they do. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. You don't think they get drunk on their own money. Where's the gridlock? We're supposed to go back to this. But then again, this was a judge. This was a man who was put there not because he was a political apparatchik, but because he had an understanding of the principle of Americanism. The principle of right and wrong. The principle of what it means to be an American. You got that now?
Do you think 7.2 months is too long or too short for someone convicted of rape to be sentenced to prison?
Senator, that's a policy question about the egregious crime of rape, and
no, he's
Congress
asking you
has
if you
said
think it's
that
too long.
The court is supposed to take into account a number of factors when it sentences.
Yeah, is he a Democrat? Is he a Democrat? Is he of the right persuasion? Is he of the right race? All of these are the kind of things that they want to take into account now, rather than right and wrong. And then principles. Principles of what a republic is versus a Fourth Reich fascistic government that can willy-nilly not just give money to their own base and call it equity, but can give it to another country without so much as a pushback or a question. I couldn't help but notice during the break, CNN had it. I had to take a picture of it. I find this to be funny. Zelensky asked Biden not to sanction Russian oligarch Roman Abramov. Not Roman. You could sanction you. Why? He was hoping he can get in talks with Putin and help. Oh, so that oligarch, you get to keep your yachts. The other ones you don't. And you don't think Ukraine is corrupt? Oh, something tells me if we had an investigative team that reported stuff, that would be a trigger. But instead, no. Let's continue with the mission forward.
Why isn't it rational to sentence people who have thousands of images on a computer to more time as opposed to somebody who has one or two pictures in the mail. In other words, the more images...
Because they're mitigating righteousness and equity per the race of the defendant. That's why. There's no right and wrong anymore. There's right for some people, wrong for others. But there's no more a blind judicial system that judges each American equally. Those days are gone. We got to right some wrongs now. How are we going to do it? By implementing racism in the name of racism. So these aren't simple questions anymore. Not even if they got a three-piece set or not. 312-642-5600.
He believes in freedom, capitalism, and individual liberty. And because of that, he's become an enemy of the state. He's Shaun Thompson, and this is The Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
The exciting new Ford Commercial Vehicle Center at Joe Cotton Ford in Carroll Stream is your Chicagoland headquarters for commercial vehicle sales and service. Right now is the perfect time to get into a new vehicle from the exciting 21 lineup of Ford commercial vehicles, including all transit sizes and configurations, dump trucks, KUVs, plus a full selection of Power Stroke diesel Super Duties and chassis cabs. Joe Cotton Ford always delivers the perfect vehicle for your business needs and budget. We are here to service you and keep your business moving forward. Be sure to check out our brand new state-of-the-art commercial service facility servicing vehicles up to F650 and F750. See why we're Chicagoland's best Ford buying experience. For the 7th consecutive year, voted the Daily Herald's Reader's Choice winner for domestic dealer for sales and service. And remember our Joe Cotton Ford promise. We'll treat you great and save you money. From 3 generations of our family to yours, you have our word on it. At Gary and North Avenue in Carroll Stream or at joecottonford.com.
Is chosen by the Daily Herald readers.
You have faced uncertainty and anxiety, and now your retirement is looming. You might be asking yourself, did I put enough away? Will I have to pay a lot of taxes? Will my spouse be okay if something happens to me? Total Clarity Wealth Management can offer answers and help alleviate your anxieties. With a professional team of financial advisors and CPAs, they can show you the way to financial readiness and keep you on track. Their philosophy is built on solid relationships and trust. With access to expertise in tax planning strategies, 401k rollover services, estate planning, they can help you be ready for anything and give you confidence. Call Total Clarity Wealth Management. Call 630-762-9352. TotalClarityWealth.com. That's TotalClarityWealth.com. Also, if you're a wealth advisor who believes you should be doing the right thing for your client and likes to build relationships, talk to Total Clarity Wealth about joining their team.
Securities offered through LPL Financial. Member FINRA SIPC. Investment advice offered through Total Clarity Wealth Management, Inc., a registered investment advisor and separate entity from LPL Financial.
Balance of Nature's fruits and vegetables in a capsule. Changing the world, one life at a time.
This product is life-changing, and I tell everyone what a blessing Balance of Nature fruits and vegetables is. It's amazing. Absolutely phenomenal. I'm telling you right now, this is an amazing thing. 30 days after taking this, everything is perfect. I could not be more happy. What a blessing. So, good job, Balance of Nature. Good job.
Get a wide variety of all your daily recommended servings of whole fruits and vegetables without having to leave your home. Right now, Balance of Nature is offering free shipping and 35% off on any new preferred order. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or by going to balanceofnature.com and make sure to receive this special radio offer by using discount code Prager.
AM 560. The Answer.
Now, obviously, if you've been paying attention to anything, you know why Affirmative Action Jackson didn't want to answer if she could define a woman or not. I mean, you could pretty much get, I don't know, a dog to define a woman or not. You know, a little sniffing. However, I do know why Carney B, Affirmative Action Jackson, didn't want to do it, and it's because of the transgender thing. Duh. No kidding. We all know that, because after all, we have to pretend a 6'4" fella is a woman as he dominates female collegiate swimming. He's either that or the greatest comedic mind in American history. And then there's going to be the pushback by the people, you know, who don't want to be told how to think by corrupt idiots also known as Democrats, like the parents of the people.
We are parents of a female swimmer swimming this weekend at the NCAA championships in the 100, 200, and 50 free. We do not support a biological male swimming in the women's championship meet.
Nobody should. It's a man. Nobody should. I mean, you want to create a different category? Let's do that. We had a solution yesterday from Colin. I like that. Transgenders, let's turn a channel. We could get all kinds of shaving commercials to, stoke that up. I mean, think about it. Talk about you could shave the legs, the face, the whole 9 yards. And it leads me to my new favorite commercial and somebody I'm hoping that will advertise on the show.
Do you remember when there were two genders and only 1.5 of them had to shave their mustaches? Oh, hi. I'm Jeremy Boring, CEO and God King of the Daily Wire.
This is real.
Harry's Razors used to advertise on our shows. They're a great product, and we were happy to do it. That's before some peon who works for me went and said that boys are boys and girls are girls. And that was just too much for Harry's. They condemned our views held by millions of Americans and virtually every human who's walked the planet until about 15 minutes ago, as inexcusable. And they dropped their ads from our network because of what they called values misalignment. You're damn right our values are misaligned. And it's not just Harry's either. Gillette razors used to be the best a man could get. Then they decided that men are too toxic. Unless you're the kind of man who teaches his daughter to shave her beard. If that makes sense to you, keep buying Gillette. But if you've had enough of the woke bullshit, and you're tired of paying companies like Harry's and Gillette to hate you,
he's burning a Ferrari. I want to hear what company it is.
buy my new razor instead. Behold, Jeremy's razors.
I'm buying it because I had Harry's. I liked them. I didn't know that was their stance. And that's the power we have. Take these companies that support this ridiculous collectivist control of society. Stop buying their products. When you see the hypocrisy of certain oligarchs being loved while others are demonized. And by the way, remember who those oligarchs are who are now being demonized. Those are the ones that the FBI wouldn't investigate when the Clintons were selling our uranium to Russia. You know, the one that's threatening to nuke the world. Couldn't be done without the Duchess of Chafington. What razor do you think she uses? And where do you think she's... Oh, don't even think about that.
Her staff, people who work there, say emphatically no.
No. She wasn't bought and sold. Neither was Joe Biden. He's completely coherent. But I have solved the problem. The problem of why both Democrats and Republicans in office today hate the Russians. I found it out. See, because they used to be bribed by them. They used to sell them uranium and all the rest. It was because of Lavrov and what he was asked during the election year 2020. Do you remember that, kid? I don't think you do. Here.
Russia had its own Pussy Riot moment. What do you think of Donald Trump's Pussy Riot moment?
Well, I don't know whether this would... English is not my mother tongue. I don't know whether I would be... I would sound, decent. There are so many pussies around your presidential campaign on both sides that I prefer not to comment about this.
And then we go to war with Russia. I figured it out. It's either that or the petrodollar. But there's some kind of scandal going on. Hope we look into it. I'll be back in 21 hours.
About to compare a pepper shaker to a cash-out refinance. Hang with me. You know when you're at a restaurant and they ask, would you like some fresh ground pepper? And then they crank that giant tube, but almost nothing comes out? For me, only a certain amount of time is socially acceptable to wait. I know that getting that pepper out might make my life better, but it just seems too impossible. And that's what we hear people say about the cash-out refinance. People realize that the value of their home has gone up like hot pepper the last few years, leaving all this extra money sitting inside their home. But is it too hard to get out? It's Ryan from United Faith Mortgage, and we are a family mortgage team committed to AM 560. If you're interested in cashing out the extra pepper in your home, we're good at doing all the work while you just sit back and relax. And often, your mortgage payment and years in the loan will stay the same. If you'd like to hear about your options, go to UnitedFaithMortgage.com.
We or United Faith Mortgage.
United Mortgage Corp, Melbourne, New York. NMLS number 1330. Ryan Brecka, NMLS number 65233. For all licensing information, go to nmlsconsumeraccess.org.
Hi, I'm David, and I'm the president of Century Security in Wheeling, Illinois. Several years ago, we started working with Turnkey. We hired them to be our IT service